starting to come into his prime, and he was able to agree with me on that. I mean, in one match, when they actually ended up getting the chicken dinner in Erangel, he ended up with 7 eliminations.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Falak, one of my favorite players in the whole world. But in the meantime, let's head over to Veracity and see what she's been checking out.
Welcome back once again, everybody, to the STC Club Championship update. We've just closed out our 9th game title here at the esports.
Another team that was very notable was DRX, highly consistent themselves. They started off the day with the win, and they would go on to win yet another game, and in fact, get a 2nd and 3rd place finish, finishing in top 3. They are a roster that could very well sink the ship for a lot of others, like Alpha 7 and potentially even 4 Thrives. We'll have to see what they do when they return to that very stage. But of course, we talked about positives. Let's talk about a team that needs to improve. Team Falcons, the home team who had the biggest crowd in the venue. Team Falcons, 12th place. I know they're not happy with that result, but they did show that they have some high potential. I think they're going to return even stronger when they return on day number 3. At the end of the day, if your favorite roster was towards the bottom, no worries. There's 6 more games remaining for both red and yellow respectively, so plenty of time to come back and overcome adversity. Day 1 of PMWC was incredible. So many heartbreaks, but also some powerful moments from the teams you know and love. It was just the start. We've got plenty more to go, but we've been tasked with the, I think, impossible challenge for casters to just wrap up day 1 in 2 words. You mind if I give it a shot?
Go for it.
Okay, so 2 words, gonna be hard like I said, but for me, I look at 4 Thrives, taking the charge, taking first place with the winner chicken dinners plus Sealants, but they had a challenger. It was Alpha 7, the top dogs who are looking to take it all once again. So for me, Chaos Unleashed will be my 2 words to describe day number 1. Do you think you can one-up me?
I don't know about one-upping, but I'm going to give it a go. It is certainly a difficult tournament here for a lot of teams, and I think most notably for the Falcons and Regnum Kaya. Finishing out the day with a chicken dinner for Regnum Kaya, but they were a little bit faltering. So my 2 words, false start. Ooh. It is hot out here in Riyadh, out here on the boulevard, but we are ready for Group Green to come into play. We'll see you guys on the battlefield.
Everyone, Maxman and Niptura here in front of the beautiful keys from all of our beautiful teams here at PMWC 2025, and we're here to talk about the top of the leaderboards, and more specifically about Alpha 7 and DRX. The Alpha 7 in particular had an amazing start here at PMWC.
They really, really did. I mean, 2 massive wins coming in. I mean, that Miramar was huge for them. And then on the Erangel, 2 players winning against 2 full squads as well. Huge stuff coming in from the reigning champions of last year's PMWC.
Yeah, of course, they're trying to defend their trophy here once again, this time in Riyadh. But when it comes to players for Alpha 7, I was very happy about Mafioso in particular. Yeah. You're looking a lot at Revo, Carrillo, but here with a mini 14 on that Miramar game you were talking about, he was putting on an absolute clinic. And I do wonder if we can see that happen again on their 2nd day's worth of play, because let's not forget, they're not playing today. They have that break, which is very important for teams to fully use to do research to get ready for their final day.
It really, really is. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of teams try to catch up to A7 in today's matches just because they aren't playing today. One of those teams is going to be DRX, right? 1 point behind on the leaderboard so far. 1 point separates them. Today, they are going to overtake them. But can they get enough of a lead now where A7 can't catch back up tomorrow?
I'm a little bit scared about DRX because we saw, of course, them get also 2 wins, just like Alpha 7, but outside of their wins, they get a lot of 0-point games. And that is a little bit scary because their bad games are very bad. I want to see some better bad games, which I know can sound a bit weird, but just a few eliminations, a few placement points, they would be looking very comfortable to make their way straight into the grand finals here at PMWC. Though another team that I think is going to be interesting to mention here that maybe didn't quite perform on the same level as DRX and Alpha 7 is Team Falcons. They had, I think you said, a good start, but did tend to fall off a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, it was a really good start for them. I mean, we talked about it after game 1. I was really impressed with how they played. They came out guns blazing. But then they kind of just fell off, and it kind of just went down from there, and it was really unfortunate to see. Maybe tomorrow they can bring that back up, but we did talk to the players and the coach after the games as we were all heading off back to the hotel, and they did have a few things to say about the Miramar, didn't they?
Yeah, it's mostly about scouting, getting information and knowing exactly what kind of play you want to make based on that information they gathered. So I think the scouting is going to be focused on quite a bit more going into their second day's worth of action. So you know what? What position can Falcons be in? Do you think they can make it right into the finals?
I would hope so. I think they definitely can. If they can get the scouting back in order, then yes.
Yeah, I heard Pekka can do amazing magic tricks. Hopefully he can do a magic trick also in the game. But with that said, we're going to go and throw it right on over to 7 and Blank.
Well, thank you, Max and Aptura. I'm glad you guys got a chance to talk about those teams. Now, let's talk about Fourth Rise, because that team is currently in first place by just 1 point over the defending champions Alpha 7.
I am having to walk so slowly because of you and my long legs. But yeah, Alpha 7 were behind by 1 point versus Fourth Rise there. We were doing fantastically well yesterday. A great team coming out from Pakistan. I think a lot of people were very surprised. And Noki, what an unbelievable turnout by him on that final Miramar.
Not even just Naki, I mean, Sleepy from Horror Esports. He was able to get MVP, over 3,400 damage. That was impressive. And also Falak, even though he has been playing for a very long time, I feel like he's finally starting to come into his prime. And he was able to agree with me on that. I mean, in one match, when they actually ended up getting the chicken dinner in Erangel, he ended up with 7 eliminations.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Falak, one of my favorite players in the whole world. But in the meantime, let's head over to Veracity and see what she's been checking out.
Welcome back once again, everybody, to the STC Club Championship update. We've just closed out our 9th game title here at the Esports World Cup 2025, along with the 9th unique club to walk away victorious. We had none other than Basilisk and Cyril walking away with another victory under his belt, which I know is pretty impressive in itself. In second place, though, we had Virtus Pro, the 2-time runners-up, adding significantly to their club championship points, making them fully eligible for prize money now. We also had Team Liquid and Cure walking away with their very first podium here at the Esports World Cup, and they're currently tied for 6th place. In the side of this Team Falcons camp, though, they secured themselves a 4th place finish, but they still have yet to walk away with a victory in any of our game titles at this event. Only time will tell whether or not the reigning champions will be able to make it happen. So let's go ahead and find out.
Well, thank you, Veracity. Yes, we're going to get started here with day 2 of PMWC at EWC 25. Yesterday, we had plenty of surprises. I mean, Fourth Rise from Pakistan, as we were mentioning earlier throughout those videos, finishing in first place and getting really, really close to Alpha 7. But before we even dive into all of that, how are you feeling, Naptura?
I'm feeling very good about everything that's gone on so far. Very good. Yes, Max, I know.
No, Team Spirit's not here.
Hey, okay, for the record, he said it first. It wasn't me. Yes, even though Team Spirit's not here next year. Anyway, yeah, I'm feeling really good about today in particular, based off of what we saw yesterday. Coming into today with a new group, but also basically all of the teams that were in the top 5 minus A7 also coming in as well. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, like after today, some teams will already have secured their spot for the finals. I think we're all in agreement on that point, but some other big teams going to be joining the battlegrounds today, right?
Yeah.
Thunder Talk, you got your Alpha Gaming. A lot of people going to be supporting them today, so I'm very excited to get in these games today, 7.
Could it be the docketing happen again? You know what? We'll wait and find all of that out. I'm hoping that it doesn't end up happening, but in case you did miss day 1, let's take a look at the Krilla top plays from day 1, because we had a bunch. And I mean, talking about this player, Fourth Rise Falak, he was able to put up 7 eliminations, as we mentioned earlier, in just 1 match. He ended up popping off, Max.
I mean, come on, it's Falak. Right now, the uncontested best player in Pakistan, okay? The guy has that MVP potential, unless I pick him, apparently, like in the PMSL CSA finals. Quite unfortunate. But it's good to see other players rise next to him. Like T24 has always been looking really good here, Neb. But especially Noki, securing that game almost on Miramar in a 1v3. Didn't go quite the entire way versus Alpha 7, but he got so close. I was very impressed with his individual performance yesterday.
Yeah, I think in CSA we saw a lot from T24, we saw a lot from Falak, but we didn't really mention Noki all that much. He's really shown a different side to himself, I think, in at least yesterday, in the last 6 games. I mean, it's in this very game that he got a very near 1v3 clutch against A7. So, like, A7 won that game, but Noki, man, he was kind of the star of the show on that game.
Yeah.
We saw a highlight. I saw a clip somewhere on Instagram, I think from Alpha 7. They were having their reaction. Oh my God, we're about to win. Yes, we're about to get the second win. And then all of a sudden, Naki just started popping off the other players. And they're like,
Wait.
It might not go as smoothly as we talk. But let's look at some of the Crunchyroll reactions from day one. We had DRX. 2 wins. Nobody expected that. Alpha 7, 2 wins as well. Honestly, I was not expecting that because of the caliber of gameplay that we expected to see here at PMWC.
No, I think it's a really unprecedented sort of result that we're getting here for 4 games to be won by 2 teams at this level in this lobby, as you said. And especially, I think, not to be that person, but coming from Alpha 7, who historically don't do anything until later on. You know, they kind of are slow to start. You said this, 7. I'm using your own words against you here.
I said
they
in
are
the past.
slow to start historically.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that we've got now 2 wins coming in from them as well.
I'd agree. Yeah. And Alpha, you said everything. I can't take anything off the back of that. But no, DRX and Alpha 7, they're looking great. They already secured their spot, in my opinion. If they don't have a horrible 0-point day, I think they're good to go. So, you know what? We're going to have at least South Korea and Brazil making it there.
Well, the good thing for Alpha 7 is that they're not going to be playing today. They're going to get a chance to kind of sit back, relax, see what the other teams are going to be doing, and see how they can maybe adjust to stuff that they saw from yesterday, because there was a lot of surprises yesterday, as we're going to be taking a look here at the overall ranking after day 1 for Thrives. As we mentioned, first place by just 1 point, and the fact, Max, that they are just so close to Alpha 7, it's what's so impressive to me.
I want to see how big a gap they can create. Not only for Thrives, but also DRX against Alpha 7, because they're the reigning champions. They're going to be your main competition going into every single stage here at PMWC 25. So you want to see how that's going to be working out for those 2 teams in particular. But I want to go a bit lower here, and I know this is a team that you're quite passionate about also, Neb.
Yes.
It's going to be Team Secret. No chicken dinners, still up there in 4th place, just above Regnum, that did get a win in the last game yesterday. Team Secret, the true silent survivors here in this lobby.
Yeah.
I am shocked that they have as many points as they do, because I don't think we really saw them yesterday at all. I was like, they've got this kind of weird 1-3 split coming through here. They kind of have this sort of very, very passive, secretive, if I may, sort of strategy about them. But for them to get 32 elims out of that does not seem even right to me. So, I mean, GG's, because I didn't even see that. So that's a really, really good result from them. But I guess I'll have to look more from them today.
Yeah, I mean, they are a very silent, sneaky team. They just get in position. They're like, oh, we see a third-party potential from a distance. We'll just steal eliminations. I can tell you that those eliminations, not all of them came from their side. Like, they stole a bunch of those eliminations because they were so silent. They're going on to the second page here. Teams we want to see a little bit more from, I would have to say Nongshim Red Force, especially another team from South Korea. You got DRX at the top, Nongshim Red Force at the very, very bottom here. Quite an unfortunate bunch of events yesterday in their 6 games. Not quite able to get anything of value out of them.
Not really. Nothing at all. It was really weird to see, because we've seen Nongshim in the past. We've seen them quite recently as well. I mean, they did enough to qualify here. So really, we should be seeing more from them.
Yeah, Ned, something to look out too for some of these teams is that the teams that are currently in Group Yellow, I'm going to be looking at Influence Rage. Like, this is going to be your last day for Group Stage. You got to make sure you have a great performance, because Group Red is just going to be looking at this, and by the end of today, we're at least going to have a limit of where they need to aim to make sure they qualify to Grand Finals directly, or to know if you're going to end up going to survival stage.
Yeah, I mean, we will know where that cutoff point is going to be. That's going to be a difficult thing to really go for, because yeah, if you're Group Red, you're kind of going, okay, we can pick apart that team, we can pick apart that team, we can pick apart that team, and it's like, okay, hang on. Group Yellow really have to do something. Group Green as well, they're going to be under a lot of scrutiny coming into day number 2, because now they're going to be like, okay, now we've got Group Red, the group of death that we've seen coming in here. At least that's what they've been called. Actually, though, I do want to kind of change that, because Group Red so far has not been the group of death. It's been Group Yellow.
I mean, they've been dying a lot in games, so I guess it still kind of works. There's just a different meaning to it.
I mean, I suppose. Yeah, you know what? We can keep it. That's fine. If you want to keep it, go for it. Group of death, it just means lobby time. More lobby time for them.
I feel like it's like the group of death slightly, right? Everybody here. I mean, even the Group Green coming in today, You got Thundertalk Gaming. You got APG. You got a bunch of other stuff as you're going to be able to see right here. Remember that Group Red is going to be sitting out. Group Green is going to be coming in. You also have Alter Ego Ares Max, which, I mean, a lot of people are looking up to them. And then you have the PMSL America's Champions in Intense Game.
Yeah, I mean, Intense Game, I think, for Americas have been very impressive. It seemed that people were just expecting Alpha 7 to win every season, I feel like. But no, it was another team. It was Influence Rage up there. It was Intense Game up there actually being over Alpha 7. So maybe we can see another Brazilian team take the trophy away from Alpha 7. That would be a sick storyline going into this. But Alter Ego, I'm exceptionally hyped to see Rosemary play again here on the international stage. She is by far the best player in SCA. He was the PMSL SCA spring season MVP. So this guy can go the entire way here in this tournament.
As we're going to be taking a look there at the Jamil Motorsports player arrivals. I saw Top at one point. He was smiling. He's feeling good. He's looking to possibly get an MVP here, Neptura.
He is.
No?
Maybe.
I'll say maybe.
That was a long pause.
There's a lot of players, though, that we could say the same thing about. So it's like,
No, I
can
do
we
agree.
say it?
Top will have a harder time to be MVP, and there's one reason. The formula changed for the first time since 2020.
True.
There's a lot more of an emphasis on getting knocks and eliminations as to before. It was all about getting good survival time and getting a lot of damage, which you can easily do with a Mini 14. But if you want to get knocks and elims, it's going to be all about the shotguns and the ARs. And you know that he does not always have that shotgun in his arsenal.
And what are they going to be doing in regards to adjusting to 4 thrives? Because yesterday, at the end of the day, we heard Falak say, hey, we're going to be changing some strats because APG is going to be coming in. We just don't want to leak them yet.
That is going to be such an interesting thing to watch because, yeah, that is such... It's not even like, oh, they contest or whatever. It's such a direct contest because they have to cross across that bridge a lot of the time directly into 4 thrives. And that is going to be such an interesting thing. Like, how are they actually going to change that? How are they going to adapt from that? Is something that I'm really excited to see what we're going to see going into Ringo.
Well, we'll have to wait and take a look, right? Yeah. It's going to be an interesting battle there. But let's take a look at the Aramco Power Rankings because a lot of us ended up picking APG, 4 thrives, and then that third team that ended up mixing up. I ended up with Team Secret, Natura, Regnum Karya, okay, and ooh, Max.
Interesting.
Young
The surprise team.
Yes.
Yes.
I was very happy with how they were playing throughout yesterday. They surprised me. I mean, a lot of teams, XGMG impressed me, Team Secret impressed me, Yangon Galacticos impressed me also. I want to see that possibly continue for their second day's worth of action because we could have a surprise here. I think that, of course, we've got a lot of favorites that we want to see qualify going into the finals, but we're going to have a few stragglers here that no one expects that are going to be weaseling their way into the finals, and I think Yangon Galacticos could be one of those teams.
It could be, but as we saw there on the Aramco rankings, all of us ended up picking APG. So before we even dive down into them a little bit more, let's take a look at this video.
They go by a new name, Alpha Gaming, but this roster has been grinding for years. At its heart, the core of 4 Miracle Vibes, who put up a strong performance in the group stage with a 3rd place finish, ended up 12th overall at PMWC 2024 after struggling in the main tournament. This year, they have fought through the toughest lobbies, and now, with the rebrand, with a reloaded lineup, they are aiming for global recognition. They have brought Top, formerly of Star Wars Esports and Team Falcons, one of the most fierce fraggers in the region, aggressive, unpredictable, and clutch. And leading them all is Doc, the IGL, the tip of the spear and the team's top fragger. He doesn't just call the plays, he makes them confident, calculated, and deadly in pressure moments. Seal and Reefus are powerhouses of their own, and together they become one of the scariest teams in Central and South Asia. At the 2025 PMSL CSA Spring, they left no doubt 216 points in the survival stage with 3 chicken dinners, 170 points in the finals, and 2 more wins. They walked away as champions with the title, the prize, and a ticket to PMWC. Now they head to Riyadh. For Doc, it's a chance to lead his team into history. For Top, a shot at a global redemption. For Seoul and Reefus to show just how dangerous they are. This isn't the star of their story. Alpha Gaming is coming, and they are not coming quietly.
Well, Max, I was kind of hinted at it there at the beginning of the show. Neb, you kind of heard it too. Is the docketing going to be happening? And you know what? Before we even get a yes or no, explain to the viewers what the docketing is.
Okay, for those who did not watch PMSL CSA, docketing is a very important thing that keeps happening for Alpha Gaming, which is Doc being like, sorry guys, I'm going to go 500 meters away from the rest of the team and do my own thing. And usually that results in him going out early or his team getting squad wiped. And because of that, the survival time goes down, they don't win games, and it really hurts them. That's what happened in PMGO, right? He got MVP Doc, and the rest of his team was so low on the ranking. It was just a crazy bunch of events happening back to back to back in every match. So Doc, hopefully no docketing. Hopefully he sticks with his team, which he was doing in PMSL CSA. He didn't do too much in the Hong Kong Invitational, and that does scare me a little bit.
I think it comes down to this. If the docketing doesn't happen, they're slated to possibly win the entire thing.
Exactly.
If the docketing happens, it's not good, guys.
Doc MVP, but no trophy.
Yeah, basically Doc MVP. He secures that. That's good.
Okay.
The rest of it, the rest of the team is like, okay, cool. Have the MVP. That's fun.
Quick little theory here, because we did see in the interview that 4 Thrives have a game plan to take care of Alpha Gaming. What's Alpha Gaming's response going to be to that? Because they saw that interview. I can tell you, they saw that interview happening with Taylor.
Ooh.
What's the game plan?
Right? Probably
the
docketing. About it. They're probably going to be thinking about what's going to be happening in the bridge, because that's what Falak from 4 Thrives was saying too, right? They always end that meeting in that western bridge. So I'm pretty sure they're just going to be adjusting those strats. I'm hoping, though, that when we end up going into Sandhawk, I don't want to see as many hot drops. Do you want to see hot drops?
Yes. It's fun.
Boot camp.
Ooh. Okay.
Alpha Gaming.
And?
I'm not sure. I think someone's going to try and contest it on the rotate around them. Maybe Influence Rage.
Yeah, it is a team that does end up going there. But I mean, as we're getting started, Sandhawk, I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to end up winning that first match. I'm looking forward to seeing what some of the new teams now from Group Green are actually going to be doing, because that's going to be the big surprise, right? Are they going to be starting off slow? We did have some teams yesterday where they started off very hot and then it slowed down, and vice versa. But with all that said, I'm ready for Sandhawk. We're all ready for Sandhawk. I'm pretty sure you are. So let's send it over to the stage.
8 teams sat on the sidelines yesterday and watched day one unfold. Strategies were implemented, mechanical skill was tested, and flaws were exposed. But now it is their turn to step onto the stage and perform under the lights. It's gonna be absolutely wild, and I cannot wait. My name is Barney Banks, and I am your host for the 2025 PMWC at the Esports World Cup. And let's keep that same energy going as we introduce our teams for day 2 of the group stage, kicking things off with Team Secret. Kinotrope Gaming. TT Global. Intense Game. R8 Esports. Alter Ego Ares. Yangon Galacticos. Ida Esports. Influence Rage. Regnum Carrier Esports. Fire Flux Esports. Team Vision. Damax Esports. DRX. Alpha Gaming. And finally, 4 Thrives Esports. We have some of the most feared and respected teams in the entire world ready to go toe-to-toe on the main stage. Truly, anything can happen. We know in our heart of hearts that each and every one of these teams has the ability to lift that PMWC trophy. The only question is that when the lights go on, will they be able to handle the pressure? And so with that being said, sit back, relax, and let the carnage commence.
I love that we have 4 Thrives there at the end, as they are currently the team that's being hunted down by everybody else. The question becomes, Niptura, can that team hold that lead? Even though it's just 1 point, remember, as Max said, they are going to be trying to create a gap as Naki's just flexing those muscles right there. Or are they just going to end up crumbling under the pressure?
I think they're going to continue how they've been going. They look very, very strong to me. They look calm, they look confident, they look very chilled. They know what they want, and they know how to get it so far. So yeah, I think that as long as they maintain that cool, maintain that composure, we should be looking at a really good day from them again today.
I think one thing you're going to be looking at, though, Max, is going to be looking at that consistency from the team when it comes to decision making, because yesterday they had some questionable decisions.
They got a little bit indecisive at times. Me and Niptura were having a lot of back and forth about this, that we saw some games where the execution was on point. It was absolute fire what we were seeing from 4 Thrives, and sometimes they're just not in a very advantageous position. The circle is moving away from them. They're like, well, what do we do? And unfortunately, if you keep delaying making a strong decision, you are going to put yourself in a really bad spot eventually. Teams are going to be in way better positions than you, and you're going to have to crash to just survive the next circle shift. So I want to see them go for big plays and just commit. Even if it's a bad play, you know what? Sometimes bad plays happen. You have to commit to a bad engagement. Do it as a team. Send it early. Do not let teams make decisions for you, because otherwise you're going to get pushed down in the leaderboards way lower than where you really want to stand.
And one team that kind of surprised us a bit yesterday as well throughout the whole day, right up until the end when they ended up getting a chicken dinner, was Regnum Karya, Max. I mean, out of all the points that this team had, they had 16 placement points, 10 of them coming into that last game. They cannot allow that to be the same case here going into the last day of group day for them.
I'm going to be also a little bit critical about Regnum Karya on that one win of yesterday.
Yes.
I think the reason why they won it is because of a DRX mistake, where they gave the high ground position for free. Sure, Silas saw that there was a mistake being made, like, oh, I can capitalize on this position. I can take the high ground away, and off the back of that, we get rid of Team Secret, we get rid of DRX, we get the win at the end of the day. I do love that execution, but it was kind of given to them. I want to see PMGO Regnum Karya here. That is the Regnum Karya level gameplay I want to witness in these matches, because if they do that, this is a team that can take home PMGO trophies, PMWC trophies, PMGC trophies. They can win global tournaments if they bring the absolute S+ tier gameplay. We just haven't seen it just yet.
And up to another team, I mean, DRX, that's one that just kind of comes to mind, right? They ended up getting those 2 wins yesterday. Outside of those 2 wins, it was only just 5 placement points for this team. Are you looking for them to change anything, or just keep doing what you're doing and hope that you get another 2 wins today?
Hard to say, because, you know, the strategy that they're doing got them 2 wins, but as you said, it also got them only 5 placements the other, what, 4 games? It's kind of insane. No, I think that they probably have gone home after yesterday, gone, what was the issue? Why has that happened? I wouldn't change too much at this stage. You know, it's working to a point, and if you change things too much, you're going to overload the system. You're going to actually just confuse the players. So tweak things, maybe a couple of points, just 1 or 2 things, not the whole thing. Just keep what they're doing. Bit by bit, just tweak something.
Yeah, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's very important to see how your bad games are. right? If you can just get a few placement points, I'm not asking for a lot, just 1-2 placement points, you get 1-2 eliminations over the course of a tournament, that stacks up to like a lot of extra points, double-digit points very, very quickly. So you want to make sure that your bad games are still relatively good, and that will allow you to just be a lot more comfortable and have peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because then you just know, okay, it's fine, we sure didn't get a chicken dinner, we get a few points, we're still comfortable, we're not playing under pressure. Because when you start playing under pressure, that's when unfortunately diamonds become a big lump of coal.
And one team that you were talking about earlier too, Max, was Yangon Galacticos. They ended up with 31 eliminations for the whole day. On top of that, followed up with just 11 placement points. For this team, I mean, I feel like we got a big surprise out of them when it came to Sandhawk, especially Sandhawk, because I think they ended up with something along the lines of 14 elims total. For them to have most of their elims, half of their elims just in one match, are you looking to see something different out of them today?
On the Wrangle, more specifically, right? Sanhok, it's good. Happy to see them get a good game over on the Sanhok on the jungle map, but you want to have good maps on Miramar, and most importantly on Wrangle, because this is going to be your bread and butter. Literally, if you do not do well on the Wrangle, which is like, why are you not doing well on the Wrangle? Like, we've had this map for like years now since the game came out, but you are going to be losing a big chunk of those possible points. And all of the teams that are currently at the top, guess what? They've got wins over on Wrangle. You're looking at DRX, you're looking at Alpha 7, you're looking at Fourth Rise. They're all up there because they can perform well on the grassy pastures, as Kalaris would tend to say. So we need to see more presence from Yangon Galacticos here on Wrangle.
No, I agree. I think it's something that you really want to see. It's okay for teams to be really, really good at Miramar, for instance, rather than Erangel. As long as you have a decent game on Erangel, then yes, Miramar, it's okay to be really, really good at that map. We've seen that from APG. We've seen that certainly from A7 in the last, in yesterday's games as well. So that's fine. It's the problem comes in when you get all your big elims, all your big points on the Sandhawk, and then you're looking at going over and then just not doing a whole bunch of anything.
Now, Neptune, I'm over here just before we saw Rosemary and Alter Ego Aries, I was pointing at the screen because we ended up seeing Kinotrope Gaming, and I know that's one team that you've been kind of hype on.
I love this team, actually. I've seen them once in the Hong Kong Invitational. I thought it was awesome. I thought they were awesome. They didn't do too much after a couple of days, right? But this is a team that has almost zero experience. They only have Ozzy-san at global level, with global level experience. The rest of the players have regional experience only. So for this team to come in, be grouped up in roughly a year they've been a team, and come from, in a year, from not doing really much of anything global to now at PMWC, now fighting against a lot of global teams with much more experience and doing very well from what I saw. I'm excited for this team.
And it's exceptionally hard because everyone in their minds, when they think of Japan, they think of Reject.
Yes.
Right? And you have to live up to those expectations that you are replacing Reject, not because like you just got swapped, but because you qualified instead of them.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of pressure, really, because now all the Japanese audience is looking at you like, you replaced Reject, you better perform, or else.
So true.
Or else, I don't know what.
Or else, yeah.
Put mean comments in the chat, I don't know, maybe.
They're
Or
gonna
else.
get DM'd on Instagram.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Don't worry, though. Max tries to reply to every single DM that he ends up getting. Right, Max?
I'm struggling. I'm trying my best. If I didn't reply to a few messages, I'm sorry, but I'm giving it my best.
That's what happens when you start getting too famous, Max. That's exactly what happens when you
Let's
start
calm
getting
down
too
right
famous.
now.
The Max-Man.
I mean, he said he ended up getting like 1,000 followers on Instagram. If you guys haven't checked him out yesterday, make sure you guys hit us with a follow. Maxman Cast. What's yours, Neptura?
Neptura cast.
There you go. With the 7WG, we've been posting a lot of content for PMWC. So if you want to go check that out, go for it. Another team that we really haven't got any chance to talk about. Hey, yo, that worked out perfect. Whoa.
Yo.
Thunder Talk Gaming. They do have a player, Max, that a lot of people are saying that he's more than likely going to be the MVP.
It is Jing, and not King. Okay, a lot of people know is this Jing. A lot of people are going to be looking
Confirmed?
at him. Confirmed.
Okay.
Officially.
Confirmed,
Okay,
okay.
no, Jing is the front runner here for the side of Thunder Talk Gaming, and he's been doing really good locally. I mean, this is a team that we keep seeing winning PL over in China, but that transition from playing in China to making it here to global, the rotations are still good, but that fragging power from the Brazilian teams, from the CSA teams, from all of these squads is just so much higher than PL, in my opinion, that they just go into a concrete wall. And that is just the CQC fighting capabilities of all these teams that they really struggle with. If they worked on that, then there's maybe potential. The rotations, we know they're going to be good, but Thunder Talk, for me, I would not favor them instead of a Weibo, because Weibo have way more international and successful international experience.
Yes.
I mean, that's right. The thing, as you mentioned in the past too, and something that we talked about in the past, is that with Thunder Talk Gaming, this team just kind of tends to crumble when it comes to global. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case here coming into today, especially after they got a chance to see what some of the other teams are going to be doing, which leads me to a completely, I guess, kind of in the same side of the world. But for alter ego areas, Rosemary, Rose Carry, as we usually like to call them, what are the expectations for this team? Obviously, I know everybody wants to be able to get the win. It's not feasible, even though we wanted to. There's no participation prizes here besides the prize pool. But what are we expecting out of this team, Max?
I was talking with the Indo talent, and I was talking with, in particular, Jelly, and she told me, apparently, Rosemary is the SEA doc. He just leaves his team and does the Rosemarying, we call it, apparently. So he does a similar thing to Doc, and he just plays away from his team gets eliminated, or he gets eliminated as a solo. We also don't want to see that. Hopefully he can stick with his team, and if they do, maybe this is going to be the one chance for SEA to do well here at PMWC.
The docketing, but for we'll think of a name. Okay, we'll think of a name. While we're thinking of a name, let's take a look at this. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I was taking a second. I was just enjoying that little flex there of the jersey. There you go. Now that we have Rosemary, let's take a look at this video from Alter Ego Aries.
Magic! Pecco, you got to learn from him. What was that?
Perasaan aku kembali ke Riyadh sangat seneng karena dimana tahun kemarin kita gagal untuk ke Riyadh dan tahun ini kita dikasih kesempatan lagi untuk main di sini lagi. Menurut aku, performa tim aku selama saya berkarir di Alter Ego banyak yang up and down-nya, banyak yang masalah-masalah yang kita lalui, dan puji Tuhan kita masih bisa mengatasi itu semua dengan apa yang pengen kita capai lah. Jadi kita mencari chemistry bareng sampai di mana kita mendapatkan hasil yang lumayan bagus, dan disinilah kita akan membuktikan semuanya gitu. Kalau untuk ditanya sebagai kayak terpressure dengan fans atau apapun itu, sebenarnya aku tuh menanggapinya dengan secara positif, yang dimana kalau itu pun ada tekanan dari hujatan dari netizen atau apapun itu, ya kita ambil dengan secara positif aja. Mungkin mereka peduli sama gue sendiri, jadi ya bodo amat lah dengan apapun itu. Jadi gue ngelakuin apapun yang aku pengen aja gitu. Mungkin mau dikenal sebagai juara dunia aja. Yang bikin tim aku pede karena dimana kita udah membuang waktu banyak, waktu latihan apapun itu, membuang semua energi kita buat ngelakuin hal yang terbaik, dan inilah hasilnya. Makanya di sini kita bakalan coba ngasih yang terbaik dan membuat Indonesia bangga lah sama Alter Ego juga. Fans Alter Ego dan fans aku sendiri, terus doain kita, support kita, mau kita lagi di atas atau di bawah, tetap semangatin kita aja terus, dan percaya kita aja di sini bakal ngasih yang terbaik buat kalian. Thank you.
Well, Max, that was an amazing magic trick that we got a chance to see before.
I was so impressed. I just had to cut the outro. That was, oh my God, Rosemary.
I wish everybody would have been able to see your face because you look at like a kid at a candy store.
I can't even do that. Like, I don't know why, but I don't have good control of my hands. I struggle.
The coordination's not there, okay? It happens with the glare. It happens. Now, I want to move along. We got a chance to talk about all the teams pretty much that are going to be playing today. I want to talk about some of the teams that are not going to be here, that are going to be getting a chance to just sit back, relax in their hotel room, take a seat, and look at strategies that some of these other teams are doing. One of them that was able to kind of perform in a way good for my liking was Hora Esports.
Yeah, I think Hora played, honestly, I'm going to be super honest, I think they played okay. Yep. I don't think they played super like we are used to seeing them. I think there was a couple mistakes, a little bit of hesitancy coming in them, particularly in the last game of the day yesterday, where I think we talked a lot about this, Max, where they were like, you wanted them to go after the high ground next to DRX, and then I want them to go and try and get 4th Rise on the north side. They did neither of that, and they kind of just fizzled out, got taken out one by one. It was something that I'm not used to seeing from Hora, that they were trying to control, but they just didn't follow through, which again is what we've been talking about as well with like 4th Rise, is they just weren't following through with the execution of what they wanted to do. Yeah, they got top 8 in the end.
Yeah.
They did get top 8, that's fine, that's cool. But coming into tomorrow, we need to see, I think, a lot more from them if they don't want to go to survival.
Yeah, I mean, one good thing is they're playing the last day. It's not like they're just
That's true.
sitting on the couch in a hotel room like, okay, please, guys, everyone suck in these games.
Yeah.
Please have horrible matches, so that's going to be enough for us to qualify. I actually talked to the owner of Chlora CR7. He said, like, no, the guys are looking confident for tomorrow's matches when they start playing. They are wanting to initiate a bit of a bigger comeback, hopefully to be nice and comfortable in the top 8. I wouldn't be surprised if they do go through survival, though. But I do think they could make it through survival. So even if they don't make it and qualify from the start here in the group stage, don't worry, there's still hope here lingering in the shadows for Horror Esports.
Ooh. I mean, they got plenty, right? They ended up in 8th place with a total of 38 points. I feel like I agree with what you were saying, Aptura. And I feel like they at least put themselves there in a position where they can make it to the grand finals directly from group stages. And that's what you want to see. Now, there was a team that I felt like it was a favorite coming in. They started off slow yesterday in day 1, Max, and then they started to turn up the heat. And I'm talking about Weibo Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, Weibo, I was talking about this team with Jackie a little bit earlier and how they were playing, actually going for these interesting splits and sometimes struggling to regroup and getting kind of overwhelmed by the fragging power from some teams. Yesterday, especially on that DRX win on, what was it, Erangel? They had a really good entry point. They didn't really have to fight too many teams to get in that position in the first place. And then they just kind of give a really huge amount of terrain over to DRX and get completely cornered against the side of the blue zone. And they can't do anything off the back of that, get picked off one by one. I think they need to be careful about their timing. Timing is very important in the lobby, like here at PMWC. You need to be a little bit quicker because otherwise, if you're slow by even just 5-10 seconds, teams will see that opportunity and they will take it for themselves.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say, you know, talking about timing, talking about sort of the control that they were having, because yeah, it is something that we did see, and something I noticed is that they really were trying very much to control and time that control very well. But as you said, yeah, they kind of gave a lot of that high ground over to DRX, gave a lot of control over to the zone. I do like how they keep to themselves. They kind of stack a little bit, keep to themselves off in the corner, and then they will actually spread out and try and get that. We saw in the last game of Miramar as well, game number 6. They were doing that. They had large control over the north side of the zone, but then the zone just ended up messing them up. The circle shifted down to the south. There's nothing they could do. But still, the thought was there. That zone control was there. And coming into their next few games, I'm kind of hoping that we're going to see maybe something built on top of that foundation.
I would have to agree. I think there's definitely a lot of potential there. It's just slight improvements that they can definitely take. Again, they're not playing today, even though we're talking about them. So there's going to have that one day to prep. And also, you can watch your direct competition today. You're going to be watching the group that are going up against tomorrow. So you can see how they drop, how they rotate. If there's any changes between scrims and the actual main tournament itself, they can get ready for that. They have all of the information available just in front of them, really, to make the best kind of play and changes that they can go for to hopefully make it right into the finals. So Weibo, I'm very confident they can make it. It's about, can they make those changes in time?
That's right, and just a fun fact for me, it was that Sook wasn't using the explosive bow, which I was highly disappointed.
Yeah.
Sook, but you know what? I'm glad that you're being able to adjust with what's given to you. But I want to go back. I know we're getting ready for the first match of the day here in day 2 of PMWC at EWC 25. I want to take a look at the overall again, because we're talking about some of these teams that are currently not here, like Alpha 7. For this team, I mean, at this point, I don't want to kind of see them do anything. If anything, I'm kind of going along the lines of what you were saying in the past too, Max. I want to see some of their worst games be better, because if you look outside of their wins, that is just one placement point.
That's not good. I'm sorry. Like, I know that's putting it in very simple terms, but we need to see their bad results getting a few eliminations or a few placement points. I don't care how you do it. You just need to do it. Because if you look at, for example, all global champions we've had in the past, Regnum Karya, PMGO, sure, they get chicken dinners. If you look at their bad games, 3, 2 placement points, 1, 2 eliminations. Again, it stacks up pretty quickly, so you want to make sure that that is going to be worked upon. Like the 2 biggest teams that have been doing that so far have been DRX and Alpha 7. Despite the fact that they did get 2 wins, which are hard carrying them. But then you look at, what if they didn't get the win? Then what? How low would they be? Would they be on the cutoff point of like 8th position? Would they be out of top 8? It's tough to know.
But maybe is that part of the strategy, though? Because in some ways, when you have a group stage like this with a rotation of groups, you have to think about the mentality. You have to think about maybe different strategies coming into based on if you're doing day 1 versus day 3. For an Alpha 7, for a DRX, are they looking maybe at going, we just want to go big or go home, get as many points, big wins, get all that momentum, get all the craziness out of the way, and then once they have that gap initiated, then they can use their second day to kind of just flow through, just kind of glide on that.
Okay, but I'm going to tell you why I'm scared about my point I just made about inconsistency. I'm looking at DRX in particular. Sure, they got 2 chicken dinners. Remember the circles they got. The one Erangel, the one Sanok. They got gifted amazingly good positions from pretty much phase 2, phase 3 going forward.
You're kind of right.
If they didn't get the circle, would they have still had that good a game? Would they get in top 5 or top 3, get a few eliminations? If they don't get good circles for an entire day, which happens to teams, I think they would be way low in the rankings. I think they would be on the second pages.
Whoa!
So I want to see them get a game where the circle is not quite in their favor, even though, again, they're not playing today.
Talk about a Dr. Suleiman Al-Habib hot take right there, Max. Let's go over to the second page, though, because I want to see where some of these other teams are also going to be at. I mean, you got Influence Rage currently in 8th place. That is a team that is also going to be in their last day of group stage. I want to see them be able to do a little bit more. I think this team, I honestly thought that Influence Rage was going to be outperforming Alpha 7 coming into the first day. That is not the case.
Actually, I'm really happy you bring up Influence Rage because we're going in Sanok on this first game. Instead, they drop in Bootcamp. Alpha Gaming usually like to drop there. Bootcamp. Yeah, you want to keep going?
Do you want to hit me with the beatbox?
No. No, we're not doing that. No. Do we have a game plan for Influence Rage to leave Bootcamp? Because let's keep in mind, going into yesterday's matches on Erangel in Milta, they were fighting power. After the first game, they go back to Saverny up north. I think that's a really good show of respect from Influence Rage. I would like to see that happen again on Sanok because sure, it's only 1 Sanok per day. It's not going to hurt you that much if you go out early because Alpha Gaming are very, very strong in Bootcamp. I think that it would be to their advantage here to maybe go somewhere else, even around Bootcamp if you want, but don't drop in the city itself because it's messy and teams are ready to third party. Actually, that makes me go on to another point. Back in MENA, we saw R8 constantly third partying teams trying to leave Bootcamp. So that might be a similar game plan here that you're fighting Bootcamp. We wait for the fight to like cool off a little bit and then we third party because we have all the resources to take the fight. We have 4 players. You might be down to a solo, a duo, a trio. We can easily take those points early on.
Do you think we're going to be seeing that hard drop?
I think we are, yeah.
I think so too. How about you, Natura?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, I think with the way that these teams usually tend to play, I think they're just going to be fully committed to it. I don't see APG, even though it is their first game, I don't see them doing anything different here. There was a team that we were talking about earlier, Weibo Gaming. I want to take a look at this interview from this team first.
第一次来到 PMWC 还是比较紧张的，然后也是第一次参加嘛，还是比较开心的。第一天的话就是还是个领先嘛，就比较顺利。然后第二天的话，也是一样的。然后第三天的话就是有被 IF 给超了一次嘛，但是最后冠军还是属于我们的，所以还比较平淡的那种感受。 我觉得这是香港赛冠军是我们团队的一个起步阶段吧，我们进步空间还是挺大的。我觉得我们战队就是4个人相互信任嘛，才能让我们夺冠。备战其实也不多，因为我们就是刚组建了就是半个月嘛，然后就去打那个比赛了。想对低过我们的战队的人说，尤其李健，想对粉丝说，谢谢大家的支持。
Biraz small güzel olmuş. Evet. Şu an XX, 4x açma. Ha benim tişört işte.
É o Rio. Isso aí tem nem dúvida.
Com certeza.
Sou eu.
Porque já soube, né?
Böyle bu da gidiyor birebir dönüyor milletle. Herkese vururum, herkese.
Ele também, é tudo ele.
Só pensa nisso.
Zaten yeni kurulduk yani.
Eu não.
É você sim, cara. Sim.
É o carrinho, pô. É, você fica durinho nos lugares assim. Eu duro. É. Só pegar os MDM,
vocês, rapaz.
Só pegar os MDM.
É tu. É sempre nos lugares estranhos, mafioso.
É.
Geç o TT yokum.
Yo varsın.
O TT atmıyorum ama en çok loot'u ben yapıyorum.
Atıyorsun oğlum, çok loot atıyorsun sen.
Hayır, geç
otomatik ben geç sen gelebilirsin. Yani.
Tamam, genel olarak.
Sen bir fight'ı vurduk, sen gittin loot atıyorsun.
Tamam.
15 dakika yoksun işte.
Yani aldırdığım yerleri konuşmayalım istiyorsan.
Rio.
Ele, disparado. O cara dorme 15 horas no voo, é ele.
Não, mas é diferente.
Não,
pô.
não é diferente, não.
É diferente.
É ele. Para de mentir. Nem você acredita nisso,
Ele dorme mais que eu. Você dorme mais que eu.
Você é louco, tu que esse cara
Você dorme mais que eu.
Você.
Para, eu tenho mais 4 horas
Eu
hoje
tenho
só.
mais facilidade de dormir, mas você dorme mais que eu.
Meu amigo, você dorme 15 horas no voo, é você, é o mafioso. Mafioso.
Não, o Revo.
Porra, que mentira, moço.
Vai falar que é eu.
Para de mentir.
Você, velho.
Que isso, galera?
Pra ele também.
Tu mesmo.
Atrasado, do Enem.
Eu chamo de
Kimseye masayı gösterin.
mafioso. Revo.
Revo.
Mentira, fala mafioso.
Revo. Empatou. Vocês estão de complô aí, vocês
Que
dois, né?
complô, cara?
Complôzinho.
Você que tem TDAH.
Bence ben dürüst olmam lazım. Benim diyorum senin gibi saklamıyorum.
Squash.
Squash.
Acho nenhum engraçado, não. Tá turma lá. Mafioso.
O Revo.
Você dois.
Tá, tipo, muito legal, nós dois.
Daha da var. Daha da var ama. Ona bakarsan. Allah'ın söyleyeyim.
Revo. Não, sem dúvida isso aí.
Tem que apontar. Ele.
Eu mesmo me aponto. It's me.
Thank you. Valeu.
Oh, fantastic look into the inner workings of some of our teams there. Good dynamic, Blank. I enjoyed that one. That was fun.
That was actually hilarious. I mean, I think the Alpha 7 bits were the best for me. Remo just won't own up to anything. When it comes to who complains the most, he'll accept that.
Yeah,
he'll accept that. Yeah, he'll take it.
Oh, man. Incredible bits, incredible bits. But thank you for tuning in. Of course, we're getting ready to kick things off here, day 2. And if that's anything to go by, I'm hoping for some smiles, some good moments, some excitement up on the stage. Very intense day of games yesterday. Bit of a switch up here, of course, as well. New teams coming into the fold. Curious to see what the lay of the land's looking like.
We're catching our stream right now. Fireflux had a little bit of a rough day yesterday, let's say, as our stage rises into the air. I've been down there, right? The mechanics of that are terrifying.
Yeah, we're getting stuck.
Yeah, I had to crawl around underneath there. As I wanted to see how it all worked, I was thrown out. Yeah, that's why I'm in here right now. I'm actually in a separate room. They won't let me go anywhere near the stage now.
Well, I did wonder why you were escorted in by security, but I thought you were a big dog like that, you know?
Yeah. No. That's not the case. No bodyguards. They're just like, I look like a wandering cat when I'm in the stage room, so they can't have me in there anymore.
They've got to round you up, keep you safe.
But we're starting off things here over on Sandhawk for a fantastic day number 2. With 4 Thrives currently thriving at the top, and you're going to hear that one quite a few times. I'm not letting it go. It's an easy one. It's a low-hanging fruit, and I'll take that where I can.
It's a staple. It's a classic.
Yeah.
You could work it in, make the most of it.
Yeah. I respect you calling it a classic.
Yeah.
A classic, yeah. Low-hanging fruit classic.
It's easy. I mean, that's a safer way to put it.
Yeah, it's an alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take the alternative.
Same meaning, but of course, you know, just different words.
Absolutely.
Crazy how language works like that.
Alter Ego Thunder Talks very close to one another here at the start. Alter Ego breaking wide up towards that north side, trying to get away. So Thunder Talks in the mix of it. You got King even heading down towards the bottom with Moana. I'm pretty sure Max just said it's King, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay. It'd be a risk if it wasn't, you know?
He's got me second guessing now. I hate that guy. I love him yesterday. Today, that's annoying.
God, 2 sides of every coin for you.
Ooh, Alter Ego.
Already.
One down already.
Yeah.
This is it's an awkward drop, honestly. I think when you start seeing shoots with you, I don't think you full commit to sending south. I think you got to go one place only. As soon as you see Thunder Talks, they have control of full of Camp Alpha. What's the point? You got to break elsewhere. That might be just an awkward start to the game for you, and try and work down towards that south side. Now you've got the Northwest Island. There was no reason why they couldn't have played those west compounds. That would have been an easy pickup. I think for Alter Ego, they get spooked there. They get spooked there massively.
Yeah, thrown off a little bit. Seems like Rosemary's got a little bit of damage back over as well. Knock picked up there. Of course, dialing in at the minute. We get to see a little bit more from Yangon Galacticus. I think they looked really crisp yesterday. So obviously a good start on a drop could be a nice way to get them straight back into that same mindset from what we saw on day 1.
Yeah, I mean, day 1, Sandhawk for Yangon Galacticos. Fantastic 14 elim throw to pick up there. So it was a really, really good first match for them. Kind of fell off a little bit towards the rest of the day. You can see there. 42 points, though. So they were bringing it back over on the final 2 Miramars, but the air angles looked a little bit lackluster from game 2, game 3.
Not bad so far, though. Scent of Rosemary certainly in the air. You can see he's still keeping himself above water with some of the pickups back over. It was that initial knock, full takedowns, obviously leaving the free.
Yeah, I mean, for Krypton, again, it's like your entire team's sent out.
Yeah.
No one's with you. I don't know why he tried to go for a solo drop inside of Camp Alpha. Maybe there's miscommunication there. It wasn't made fully clear. He's already full committed over towards Camp Alpha. He's like, where's my teammates? Nowhere near you.
The boys are not to be seen.
They could have easily had center northwest on the hilltop. I don't know, man. Bit of a weird one, but they can adjust. They can adjust.
Yeah, we'll see if they can bounce back from it. A little bit worse for wear. Seems like they've got some to work with, though, topping themselves back up.
But Yangon Galacticos actually leaving that engagement. Smile takes a lot of damage, actually. Coming through from R8. Do you send them off? So they'll take the entirety of Paris Resort. Doesn't really matter too much. I think for Yangon Galacticos getting out from Paris Resort early, especially when this is leaning over towards that northwest side, you're wanting to get away from it early. It's not the greatest of positions to be in Paris Resort. Getting locked in there as well is a very easy thing to do. I think it's more of an ego thing as well, where you really don't want to lose that fight in Paris Resort. But with the fact that for Yangon Galacticos, there was a free rotate down towards that southwest side, I think that shows character. It shows maturity.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think it was nice as well because obviously it was the mid-portion of that game one for them where they really started to turn up the heat and just kept compounding it. They had a good read on when to get stuck in with the third parties. Rotates were nice, obviously. Rough early game would not be the ideal recipe going into this. Rigo again, though, it's Moana being absolutely unloaded on from the sidelines. DBS up close, but they give him no distance to playoffs. Zol's able to grab that one. Full commit, another man goes down from the squad.
This is a ridiculous team, by the way, for Alpha Gaming. I mean, if it's your first time seeing them, they have many players that have been up to the hippity top of the international level, with Ziol on the team way back when on Zeus Esports, getting huge amounts of work done there for Mongolia. You've got Top coming through, previously Stalwart before they all broke apart, and Doc there as well. And everyone knows Doc's name. I'm sure even if you're not very aware of that team in general, you know who Doc is. He plays in most internationals. Very, very, very strong player. Now, I do worry though, because it's a team with a lot of personality on board. His vision though, moving in over towards Sandhawk.
Mrs. Vision grouped up, looking to rock together. Go for the burst in. DBS is bringing the baseline as the beat comes through. Bit of a shot back over from Vision. 2 knocks instantly onto them. Marcelo up close towards the window side, just baiting off his teammate's contact, looking for the close range engagement. And it's not ideal for Team Secret. 1 by 1, ripped to pieces. And yesterday we saw them performing far better when they could play passive blank. It felt like if they were able to play from a distance, it was good. Here it's a rough early start.
You do wonder if Fourth Rise is going to get involved on this. I mean, Falak has seen this. Takes a good angle down towards that south side as well. Gets a little bit of damage in. Will finish off that final player of Team Secret as well. But that's a 3 knockdown there coming through for Vision. It's a hard one though, because you don't really want to give up the bridge crossing on the north side. But also that could have been 3-4 pickups, giving you a bit more of opportunity to rotate down towards that south. It's a tough decision. Here's Alpha Gaming though, once again, coming up against GMX.
It's already costly as well. A lot of dividends between both of these teams. You're down to 2 players. Of course, 1 knock there as well, so effectively just a solo. 24 with the battle back down to the final 2, and 2 are knocked. Battles it out. They're trying to scrap up close. DBS firing shots. Silas from the side, and that's enough to steal it away. It was a good game from 4 Frimes, but in the end, we know who really walks away with a chicken dinner.
Regnum Kaya, good stuff for them, honestly, playing in a very difficult position. They bided their time, they made it work from that bridge side. The roof over the head was good, kept them warm and decent all the way until that end game. For Fourth Thrives, though, I think you come away with that one very happy. With the, I think it was 13 limbs they ended up with, so a 19-point game. I actually think they're on top in terms of the match rankings compared to Regnum Kaya there. Another banger coming through from Fourth Thrives.
It's mad that it just looks so consistent right now. And it was the split as well, like the way they're actually playing off one another in what was a very intense choreography of PUBG Mobile there. Like you're having everything thrown at you. The kitchen sink's coming your way, handled it perfectly. No pressure, no sweat, just perfect elims.
It's a real clean way to play that 2-2 split as well. And that wouldn't have worked if they've not identified that DRX and Influence Rage were on that western side, so they could just fully focus over towards Regnum Kaya as well as intense game. In the meantime, though, we're going to take a little less intensity and send you to a break, and we'll be back very shortly.
I'ma get.
Cybertron's future is near. Autobots, roll out! This planet reeks of weakness. Your courage reignites my spark. We'll crowd a new load of Cybertron. Roll for freedom. A victory for all sentient beings.
That Sandhawk was definitely worth the wait. And we didn't get a hot drop, but we did end up getting at least a back-to-back in a way, Max, from Regnum Karya.
Yeah, I mean, they did it on Miramar yesterday with the last chicken dinner of the day, and now they do it again on day 2 here on Sandhawk, and a very good game for them. It was going towards Hattin for a big portion of this game, but the one team that decided to not go to Hattin ended up getting the chicken dinner by holding the portion under the bridge, which,
Yes.
as we saw, was the main reason why they were able to get that chicken dinner.
And one thing that we were enjoying, that we were talking about during that match, Neptura, was that split that Regnum Karya was doing. It was an interesting split.
It really was. I liked it a lot. I thought it covered all of the bases that it needed to cover, right? You had 2 on one side of that river. You had 2 inside of zone. They were just making sure nobody came around. The other good thing about that is that high ground, that compound on the wrong side of the river, let's say, actually does a really good job of getting as much info as possible down to the south side. So they were able to know a lot of what was going on in that circle.
Yeah, I mean, because of that, they give themselves 15 points, second top team when it comes to overall points this game, because look at that, 4th rise, 13 points. Okay, they're in the finals, guys. Yeah, we're good.
I think
Pakistan in the finals, let's go. But no, Regnum Karya said they were able to scout, saw that spot under the bridge. Oh, it's free. They instantly send it. Don't have to do any extra scouting. You take that position, and because of that, they're able to defend against Vision, against Yangon Galacticos, and actually claim a game-winning position at the very end, because as we saw, it tended to move away from Hattin itself. So a very good game from Regnum Karya. This is definitely a lot more aligned with my initial expectations of what I wanted to see this team do.
And one thing that I'm kind of just pointing out here is for Team Vision, they did end up getting 6 eliminations, Neptura, and the rotation that they were able to do, I was impressed by. It just didn't end up working out for them.
I'm really sad that it didn't work out, honestly. I loved that play of them going under the bridge, fighting for that position. It was so nice. I just think that maybe they got a little bit too caught up in the previous fight with R8.
Yeah.
And it just didn't really go that way. But it's a really interesting thing to think about, because that particular compound where they had that fight with R8 is actually, you see those teams that fight there always take way too long. always take way too long. So I think it's something to think about, something to consider when you're talking about where to go, what compound to use, because if you end up fighting there, it just seemed to take forever.
Now, during that fight that was happening between Regnum Karya and Team Vision, I did notice that Falak was kind of third-partying a little bit. He ultimately ended up eliminating Team Vision, at least some of the players there. We were having a back and forth, Max. We're wondering, would that have been the time for Falak maybe to just not overextend too much, but see if maybe he could third party even more? Because if he would have taken more players from Regnum Karya, I think it would have been an easy win for them.
Yeah, I think you don't want to take that heat against Regnum Karya at that point. I did like that he was trying to get an angle. You can get an angle under the bridge, but you can't get an angle on the dip of Regnum Karya. And that's why I was so confused with Vision. Why are you stopping under the bridge when you're actively being shot at by Falak? Send it on to the side of Regnum. Take the fight. If you get eliminated, at least you tried. But if you win, you get a bunch of eliminations onto Regnum Karya, and you're safe from all those teams trying to take shots at you from Hatin itself. So I think the Vision got a little bit too hesitant, and that did cost them the game, I think, this time around, because it could have been a Vision chicken dinner, would have been the first Mina chicken dinner. That would have been an amazing thing to see happen here in Riyadh.
That's interesting. Then you think that they didn't extend enough? You think that they stopped too short by going under the bridge?
Which not only gave an angle for Falak, but also makes it very nadeable because you're hiding behind pillars and walls, and Regnum just kept chucking it over the side. So I think that here you just commit to the push. You can stay under the bridge for maybe, 10 seconds, get information, get the game plan. We have to send it, and especially Regnum on the little dip, which is very nadeable. I don't know how many nades they had, but if they had a few, you need to play around that utility to transition in that dip because it was such a good defensive spot.
I see you pondering stuff there. Is there anything you want to add to it?
Well, because you and I thought that them stopping under the bridge was actually a fantastic play. I see what you're saying about the angle from fourth drives. I see what you're saying there, but I felt like overall it was a really good, at least initial position to take. I did think that Regnum Karya maybe had a little bit of a split. Some of them were under the bridge.
Neb, are you talking about when they stop on the bridge on the other side? Not this side that fourth drives could see. Because I think that's the one we were kind of pointing out, right? When they were on the right side of the bridge, not super exposed for fourth drives. I think that's what you were thinking.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of that because then they started using those nades onto Regnum Karya, and then you're talking about when they actually just went onto the other side of the bridge.
Yes.
Then they should have gone forward. I see. Okay, because I was like,
makes sense.
We were talking and we liked it. So what are you talking about? Okay,
we liked it up until the point where fourth drives and Falak was just like, oh, are those eliminations? Oh, you know what? I'm trying to go for that MVP. I'll end up taking them. One team that actually ended up surprising us a little bit too was none other than Intense Game. Intense Game just took care of Thunder Talk.
Yeah, I really liked how they played that. You had 3 teams on that western side. The western side generally in these kinds of zones is always so strong of a position that everybody always wants the mountains. They always want the center. It's the west side that often wins games for teams. So it was really nice to see that. You had 3 teams, Influence Rage, Intense Game, and Thunder Talk. Influence Rage ended up doing the whole thing of going center, going straight for the city, going straight for Hatin. That was fine. But for Intense Game, and I think what really proved to be the key in their longevity was actually getting rid of Thunder Talk, clearing that west side completely, because then they had space to actually move in.
No, I think that was definitely a really good play. I like how slow they were playing it on the coast, especially because they were waiting. What kind of circle are we going to get next? Are we going to have a proper Hatin City finish? Are we going to have a coastal finish? They were kind of keeping their options open. So I do like how slow they were playing it. But I do think they did fumble towards the end pretty massively because they start splitting. And you need players. You need a full squad if you want to go for a push onto, let's say, Influence Rage, onto your fourth rise, onto Regnum Karya. Any push you want to go for, I don't care which one you commit to, you need to have that full squad available at a moment's notice. And they decide to send, I think it's Pedrino, in Hatin and keeping 2 of the players over onto the coast before a play even gets eliminated. I was very confused. For me, there was no clear game plan, and because of that, they just lose players one by one and lose an opportunity to maybe not get the win, but at least a strong podium finish.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, we're going to be going to Erangel, so let's take a look at a graphic where he's going to be showing us the best teams in Erangel. And I mean, no surprise, it is going to be 4 drives up there as well. You also got Influence Rage and Team Secret, 3 teams that are going to be playing today. Just a reminder for Alpha 7, Horror Esports, they are not here today.
Hey, one thing that you're seeing here is that 4 thrives because Erangel is their best map, clearly. Looking at the average Illims, they get 8 per game. That's massive.
8?
We played 3 yesterday and they get 8?
8 per game is absolutely crazy. I was getting distracted by Horror with the 1700 damage average on Erangel, which is also crazy. But yeah, to see 8 eliminations, I mean, we're talking about 8 eliminations in a lobby where eliminations are hard to come by. These guys know how to not get knocked, and so to get 8 average per Erangel is insane.
They get 2 squad wipes per Erangel. Just to put into perspective, so...
Damn.
Thank you,
right?
Seven. Great input. We love it.
I can see your brain just thinking about it.
You saw the damn in my brain right there. Yeah, exactly. No, so it's been working great, and for a lot of the teams here, it's going to be their ticket to the finals is, are you good on Erangel? Yes, no. And if that's the case, like we saw for 4 Thrives, they are going to be able to go the entire way. Though I do want to go on a quick of a little bit of a tangent here. DRX, we said at the start of the day, we want to see how their bad games are. Here, they do get far into the game, but they don't get close to the podium whatsoever. They get still a bunch of placement points and eliminations. Like, this makes me hopeful that, okay, DRX are trying to find that consistency. It was a very good entry point into Heart-In alongside Influence Rage. I want to see more of that come in from DRX. Just, no, you're not always going to get into your top 3, top 5s. Just get eliminations on board, and that's going to be more than enough to make me happy and for them to secure their spot to the next stage.
Well, for DRX, so you kind of got a bit of a sight there. They didn't get super gifted by the circle. They did end up doing a good rotation. But don't forget, for everybody currently watching, from July 25th to the 27th and August 1st to the 3rd, log into Summon Airdrops and collect 2025 airdrop vouchers to enter prize draws for official merchandise, smartphones, BD partner rewards, permanent in-game items, and more. Every participant is guaranteed to win. Additionally, from July 25th to the 31st, vote for your favorite airdrop partner for a chance to receive special gifts from them. Don't miss this year's airdrop carnival and unbox your surprise. Max, have you done it?
Not yet. I did put my predictions in game, though, that I will not share because I will be in danger. But I have not got it because I'm waiting for the
Is it going good? Is it going... Give us a vibe of how the predictions are going.
I've actually got, like, I think about 50% of my predictions are doing very well, which I'm impressed.
Really good for you.
4 Thrives was in it.
Let's give them hit them, like you said.
Oh, okay. I did not.
How are your predictions going so far, Natura? Because there is a eyebrow at stake.
Oh,
2 of them.
Shoot.
Oh yeah. 2 of them.
No. Oh, we did agree to this. Dang it. Okay. Yeah. No, it's going okay. It's going okay so far. You know what? I'm happy with how it's going.
Okay. Am I getting that vibe? It seemed like questionable, right?
She's lying.
Oh, not.
She had 8 team spirits, you know.
Hey, if I could, I would, but I can't, so it's fine.
Kitsune pictures everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the main thing that you're going to be just seeing throughout the day. But as we saw a chance there to see the graphics earlier from Erangel, I'm happy to see that 4 Thrives is continuing on this performance, Max. And that was the big question mark that I was going to be having for them. Can that team continue to perform like this? We're going to be jumping into Erangel. Can they continue that consistency? Let's send it over to Blank and Jackie.
Thank you, Seven. Can't wait to kick this one off. It's already been damn exciting. First game, Blank, good build-up. And of course, if you want to know more in depth, why not check out our official map feed? It's now live. Head on over there and get that read that you need.
Absolutely, the read that you need on the speed of these rotations from these teams. Because obviously, for the first time ever at EWC, we are sharing the map feed here with you. We've been doing it throughout the year, slowly rolling out a little bit at a time. But we really just wanted to share with you the inner workings of all the teams. Obviously, me and Jackie have been looking at that damn screen for a while now, locking in, making sure you guys know where the teams are. But now you can take a look into the inner workings of PUBG Mobile as well. So make sure you check that out over at PUBG Mobile Esports on YouTube. Enough of that though, we're going to head over towards Erangel itself.
Oh yes, follow your favorite teams and get ready for the scenes that we're going to be witnessing here. Game 2, day 2, the action is heating up, but who will be beating the heat? That's the question and the tagline, and a lot riding on it. Already some interesting developments from game 1 in terms of the early explosive hot drops that resulted in a rough start for Alter Ego that somehow turned into the Rosemary show, hoping it won't be as bad of a start, but an even better finish for them this time, Blank.
That's what you hope to see here. I think a lot of fans for Alter Ego, some really good players on side. Alva's been around for a long time, as has Rosemary, but 2 players that did fantastically well in our last match. I'll tell you who is beating the heat, though. That player that had managed to create a small wall of water bottles in front of the camera. Not sure if he's hiding his face or just trying to make sure he stays hydrated. Either way, happy for the guy. In the meantime, though, we're heading over towards Georgia Pole from down in Sosnovka. Alpha Gaming out early, alongside with Ketch from Fireflux, but Influence Rage are in position as well, alongside with Thunder Talks. I imagine they're heading over towards another Upmire here.
It's a good system, though, mate. You build up the wall of the water bottles that are slightly cold. The air will then blow that almost as an artificial AC. So maybe that'll even pull them off.
Cracking the lid a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just a little bit of cold air from it. So he's either going to play really hot because he's kind of been like actively cooled.
Yeah.
Or he'll play worse because he's cooled off.
This is really big though, and teams will have to cool off real quick because it's going to be a hot rotation down towards Sosnovka early on here. Influence Rage, Thunder Talks and Alpha Gaming already here. This is big news for them, but this is quite a lot of teams for us. I mean, recently we've more only seen maybe 1 or 2 teams over towards Sosnovka early. So Influence Rage, Thunder Talks and Alpha Gaming very pleased with this one. 4 Thrives and Very Pier. They have a very quick rotation they can make down towards the south ridge, and that little hillside that looks over towards the west and the east. But again, we saw how well 4 Thrives could hold on position last game, so I hope they can do the same here, because you will have teams coming in from that western side and the bridge.
Yeah, sway over the bridge, get that done with early. I think it's interesting as well, you do actually get Alpha up close towards Influence Rage to kick this one off. Obviously, Alpha in the previous matchup, bit of a rough compound crash, right? Losing 2 players early. Might have been a bit of a better story for them. I think that actually was Rosemary as well that got the third party from the ridge onto him, right? Just cleaned up. That's crazy, yeah. We see a little bit of a alter ego highlight there as well, opening it up. We get their vision to start. See how it develops. Hopefully it's a big game for them, bro. It's always exciting. Feels like it gets the fans going early.
It does, absolutely does. They've got a very, very good fan base, I would say. Got to actually cast over in Indonesia too, and it is incredible. The energy
I can imagine.
from that audience was unbelievable. Truly stunning and electrifying, just as it is here at the EWC for PMWC. 4 Thrives currently ahead by quite a bit here on 75 points, but DRX not too far behind, 64 points. Now, I would say Regnum Kaya, that last game, have really dragged themselves out from the small rut I'd say they're in, comparing them with the caliber they have, right? 57 points here is really, really good to see for Regnum Kaya, and a team that I expected to do well. You do hear a lot of teams at the moment saying this kind of doesn't matter here in the group stage, but I would go ahead and say this is very, very important. You're getting a direct spot over towards the finals, not having to deal with the pressure on you that happens in that survival stage. You don't want to be there, man. You really don't want to be there.
No, it's so much free information as well. You know, you kind of get that overview. A couple days off, you get to watch. Yeah. Exactly. Like the difference of going into it in terms of prep, like it's unbelievably helpful. I suppose there is an argument for obviously keeping yourself warm the entire tournament.
Yeah.
I know which side I'd prefer to be on.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And it was something I would bring up because we've brought it up in the past as well, where staying warm throughout that survival stage and making it into the finals is good, but there's also exhaustion that comes with that because it's back to back to back, and you're fighting for your tournament life for, you know, a few days. But it's not easy. It is not easy. Fireflux right now, one of our teams from our groups, which has really suffered. We saw them try and get into the west side of Hartin, really struggle there, Jackie. Saw them go down very early to Influence Rage DRX, who sandwiched them. But yeah, we're going to see DRX right now looking to go for that rotate we talked about earlier, off towards that western side.
Ooh, it's a nice first shot, actually. You see the dive in from Alter Ego, DBS behind the door. Walk through that, you're not breathing anymore. Instant first contact, mate, but Alter Ego at least clean it back up. They can get the res in as well. He's fine.
He is fine. He is fine. Alva come back up. They definitely want to keep him on board. Working together with Rosemary was very, very nice. Last game, as we saw. But this is not the end of the road for them because they've got a long way to go. Long way to go down this western coast. Yangon Galacticos is going to be in front of them. Many teams actually going for this western rotate as well across the bridge. So you've got Kinotrope just making their crossing now. And it's interesting to me that 4 Thrives actually opted to go far south here, Jackie.
Yeah, it is actually. I wonder what the setup is going to be late game for them as well. Like obviously the way they've been playing this, it's been really good in a lot of the individual fights, but I think their communications look good for the rotates so far. All of day one felt really good in terms of decision making. Hopefully that's a trend that's just going to continue because they are ridiculously compounding points. I mean, 75 off the back of the first game of day 2. Really good spot. Heads above water firmly. They're not just doing the doggy paddle.
No, they're not in the doggy paddle right now. We're in the big pool. We're big pool right now, you know. The infinity pool for them if they keep getting these kind of points. But you're looking at like a 10-point average here at the moment. just a little bit under the 11-point margin, which is an incredible result for an international. Very hard to do. Typically, teams that have managed to maintain a 10-point average, it's very obvious that they're going to stay in and head through to that top 8. So I think for 4 Thrives, they're not worrying too much at the moment. There is something to be said about, you know, teams saying that they don't really, you know, they're not minding this group stage too much, and they can always play in survival stage where you do take the pressure off yourself a little bit. But I do think that being able to perform here without that pressure and getting those points on board, super important if you can just leisurely make your way into the finals.
Do you wonder for Yangon Galacticos as well, if it was more of sort of, you know, playing to the best of their ability yesterday early, and that's going to obviously taper off, because it felt like there was maybe some opportunities in game 1 here. You know, it didn't really seize the day too much to really squeeze as much potentially as they could out of. It might look like they might even get nipped out on the heels as well by Alter Ego towards the back line. We'll see how that develops. Obviously a big shift, everyone making their move over towards the zone now.
It's a wild amount of teams. You know, having 16 teams, 63 alive here, and the majority of the squads are in Sosnovka. This is sort of a different stage we're seeing here. You're right, by the way, getting nipped in the heels by Alter Ego, coming slightly late towards Primos. Managed to find one of the players there over on Yangon Galacticos. And even finding Smile as well. This is a good turnout coming through from Alter Ego. They don't blow up the boat either, so that's an option for them if they want it. But yes, so many teams up towards Sosnovka. It's very, very impressive, and I think it's just a case of international. You don't want to go for these bridge camps. You don't want to delay. You're all looking for those points. You know how important they are. This is a quick format, right? It's a very, very fast format.
It was only Romeo and SayCloud that were able to get away by sailing literally through the clouds, just making sure they keep their distance and find a back door in towards the zone. Ulrika, like you said, it is actually a smart heads-up maneuver as well. Just get the full knocks into the convert to make sure we've got the boat. Fair decent amount of loot as well, actually. Yangon actually had a good stock, so you've rebuilt that for yourself. They'll be able to take a leisurely stroll over, join everyone else eventually.
I think this second zone is going to be the one that I'm most curious about. Right? I think there's a lot of opportunity for this to go a fair few ways. We've not really committed to either side of the island at the moment. It's pretty dead set on being Sosnovka. I don't see it going any other way, but sending far out towards that eastern side. Massive amount of water in this one as well. 4 Thrives can be very pleased with themselves that they headed south to give themselves a comfortable rotate off towards that eastern side. They could even make a really, really quick swing over towards Novorevnoye, set themselves up in the buildings early if they wanted to, because this is only going to come closer into the map, you know, unless there is a crazy option of it moving far west. I do think for 4 Thrives, heading towards Novorevnoye right now, or at least just outside it, would be a good idea for them.
See how their day continues. Curious if Vision are going to be able to sort of dust themselves back off as well. It felt like their split sort of late game yesterday. Things started to really go skew for them, but overall when they can play together as a fully fledged unit, they had some good moments, some good excitement that was on board from the team. Curious if we'll see much more.
Yeah, I mean, we saw from Vision at the start of the day as well. I don't know if you remember, but we were watching them flick through their map sheets. They were giving the thumbs up for the Sandhawk, for the Miramar, but they weren't too sure about the Erangel. Honestly, there was some shaking of the head going on there.
Thumbs down.
There was a thumbs down. There was a thumbs down. And it shows humility at least. They realize where their problems are. Hovercraft in play here for Regnum Kaya. Managed to get a hold of one of those, came across late on the north side from Sharkfin, down towards Grandma on the north side of Sosnovka. But since then, they've been moving far, far into the circle. Tospik gets caught out by Kinotrope, and there is no response, so he will not be getting backups. This is up towards Observatory at the moment. They're making a long run here in the hovercraft.
Kinotrope looking to make that one a little bit of Kino from the sideline. Points can be stolen away from it. Up top as well, TT with the bullets down, raining onto them. Use the backdrop of the vehicle for cover as it detonates. Cool guys don't look at explosions, Blank. They're all very cool. We know this.
I mean, Wild was taking some double takes.
No, he didn't look. He didn't do the Patrick's do a triple take.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. He was just making sure it had exploded. I guess it's a rough position for Regnum Kai to be in. I mean, no vehicles to be spoken of, and it's a long run, but at least they are over towards this eastern side, and it's more than can be said for a lot of teams that came in late here. It is just going to be pretty rough in the interim, right, for them. It looks like even Thunder Talks are having a look over this way. King sweeping around, and another, the Dacia's out to play. What are you doing?
Yeah, not ideal. The dastardly Dacia being dealt with as Loxy's able to get the flick off easily. Pulls him out of the driving seat. Curious as well, with one of my eyes glancing at the map feed. These late crosses on both of the bridges going to be problematic. Close grouping. Vision most likely having an easier time of it.
Four Thrives like to move very early and just get into the map, so they've got a comfortable way in. And also they're assuming that most teams already made that big migration off towards the eastern side. So I think it's a good call. I don't think they had to take the boat after all, especially with this hard eastern shift. Silence is going to have to be real quiet in the future. Pros down, but Prestel G in position. Oh man.
It all gets a little bit awkward.
And he falls through the map.
He's gone. He's done for. Goes falling down in the end. Quick bandage up on the action as well. Sort yourself out. Keep on moving. I'll make them count. Watch. Right, watch this. Next time we cut to his POV, I tell you, it's going to be 2 headshots, those 10 bullets, that's going to amount to 2 knocks, hands down.
No backpack, 1 ghillie, 10 bullets. That's all you need. It's not looking amazing, but for QXZ, the QBZ, only 60 bullets total in the back pocket here. I don't really know what Falak's looking. I think he's got a red dot as well.
I think the thing is, he's got vision for it to at least know if they're pushing up.
50 bullets.
It's like they've got a wide berth on it where you've got the backline stab in as well. Not just getting the read, T24.
Sizzy and Soez in the background. There, QXZ forced to hold down this entire position. 16 teams still alive though, Jack. It's astonishing. It really is astonishing.
It's quick shots from top as well. Mini 14 coming out to play. Bullets whiz through. QXZ down, sleeping now. All Z.
Four Thrives will have to move out here over towards the northern side. Give the ghost stand. That is a cruel circle. We talked about how Vision had been a little bit slow to the party. Turns out they held observatory. I mean, Regnum Kai went in really any position to challenge them. And if they were up towards Observatory, had that amount of sightlines to work with, cleared out that south side with 4 players that moved in a little bit later and just ignored the fact that Regnum Kaya existed, this could have been a lot better of a game.
Rejoin now with Alter Ego as well. It's Rosemary once again that's finding influence. Ooh, wow, that is rough. Quick shot. Beautiful work with the DBS. Big Papa pump, mate.
Yeah, S12K there, looking lovely. Moana, though, doesn't want to let this end too quickly, but in the meantime, Alpha Gaming have spotted a weakness on the sidelines. Doc there. The Alter Ego still alive into this one. 18 lips on the match. What's happened?
That's what I mean. I don't know how they do it. They just seem to make it work. Put it together even when they're in a really rough spot. And this is back to sort of deja vu, right? Alter Ego, 2 players left to try and pick up the scraps. Finishing off the last of the GMX boys on the cross as well there. That's Vision closing down the chapter they started on Control of the Bridge.
The top and the signature Mini 14 making this thing look real nice. As Reef is to go down in the middle of the road. Laura's in.
Of HP, got to top himself. Back up literally and keep himself in the fight. Similar story over for Team Secret that have been playing quite a late game on this one. Most of it's been rotation through the blue, so finally we might start to see what they're made of. Influence Rage consistently popping up. It feels like they're always trying to find some kind of control inside of this game. Getting as good as they get though at the minute, down to just 2 in the battle of attrition. Secret forced to play medic as well, get their players back up here. It's interesting, it was actually the rotate from Rosemary and co as well, resulting once again in just being him, the main man. They took a head-on fight versus Vision, did not go well. I wouldn't count him out though, Blank, even as a solo, room for him to sort of show us what he can do.
Just gonna keep sending those points. Shots through, and they don't know the angle. Kino Trump suffered to it.
Oh, the timing on it as well, the slight peaks. Diego's living his movie right now. Like, you got prime time vision straight in. It's uncomfortable for them. So vision trapped on the back. You got to hunker down. It's a great angle for him.
They love that Regnum Kai able to hold off versus 4 thrives. You saw a bit of a replay early with Silas on the DBS, just looking clean as anything. This is difficult. Team Secret actually have the surround sound system going on here versus Thunder Talks.
These teams whittling down the squads they've got around them. It's DRX they've got on the other side as well.
I'm just not sure what Power was thinking on this one, if I'm perfectly honest with them, where playing on this edge, it's so tough. Yeah, they're getting eliminations here and there, but slowly but surely they are going down. Again, they could have played in from where Team Secret
We start off our day in the Qiddiya Players Lounge, where they come for rest, relaxation, and refueling. And we have this gorgeous Qiddiya photo booth, of which we have a replica of none other than the key itself. I'm going to take this one with me. Across from us, we have a Reaction Royale, where players can test out all of their fantastic reaction speeds. Doc C, by the way, for Nongqing Red Force, is only at 15th place. I don't know about you, but I think he could do a little bit better than that. We also have a lovely viewing station for all of our esports players to enjoy and bask in some lovely, lovely PUBG Mobile. But what would a player's lounge be without a refueling station filled with caffeine, juices, healthy snacks, and maybe some of the unhealthy ones too? Speaking of which, I kind of want a snack of my own. Sorry guys, sorry, squeezing through. Thank you very much. Iced coffee, my favorite. We then head on over into none other than the Heroes Club, where we end our tour. The Heroes Club is exclusively reserved for EWC victors of the past, last year, but also the ones still to come. Only time will tell which one of our PUBG Mobile teams will have the glorious pleasure of joining us in there.
Oh, Max.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hello,
Sorry,
guys.
I was mimicking there what Alpha 7 did, but you know what? We're gonna talk about that last match because, boy, Did Pakistan show up with 4 thrives, being able to just take advantage of APG not being here and getting that win, Max?
Hey man, Pakistani here for the win, really. The best Pakistan has looked in the global. Such a good win here this time around, because from the very word go in this match, Alpha Gaming's not playing this match, right? So they're not going to be dropping a military base. They're not going to be contesting the western side. So 4 thrives, this game was pretty much from the start put in easy mode. Even though it was not quite that easy a game, and just like that fight in particular was normally making it a bit hard for them back in CSA, but the control they had with Falak on the beams, able to clear all of power, man, 4 thrives, I was scared them going into global after CSA. How are they going to perform? All of my doubts have been already cleared that they know what they're doing. They have a game plan here coming into PMWC.
Yeah, I mean, from the interview that I was able to do with Falak, that player is just oozing confidence, saying we're not really feeling any type of pressure. Everybody has experience, and that is showcased here in that last match. 24 points, 14 eliminations, being able to back it up there with the win. On top of that, you have Hora Esports, CSA pretty much just taking over Neptuna.
They really are. I mean, we love to see it, right?
Yeah, and again, it's very top heavy. All for CSA, look at that, 24,
Hey, yo.
16, 10, and then 7 and 5 and down below. So,
I
whoa,
mean,
wow.
yeah, Influence Rage, kind of the silent partners there, even though they got the double elims. We didn't see too much of them. But yeah, 4 thrives and Hora coming in clutch there. Some really, really strong performances. Hey, I thought Hora were going to win the whole thing. I really did. But we can get onto that later.
No, let's get into it now.
Get into it now? Okay. Hora overextended. If they had pushed over onto that player of AXTMG as they should have, then yeah, I think that would have been really, really good for them. They drive to the player, take out that player, take that player's position, and then they have full control of that northern side. They should have won the game there.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it them overextended. I think they just mispicked the right location to go for that overextension. If you go for the player of AXTMG, as you mentioned, they have already a car. They can crash it into the car of that one player of AXTMG. You have a little bit of a mini fort, and then there's no way Falak is going to be able to just shut you down in the process. So it was a good idea, but I think there was a slight mispick as what position you want to go for, because if they do secure that, you have a solid 2-2 split. You're fully controlling all of the fields. 4 thrives can't really encroach on your terrain anymore. I think it would have been a Nepali win. I know CR7 during the watch party would have loved to get that win here for his team, but maybe later. Okay, it'll happen.
He's gonna be happy. You know what? Match ranking, they were second, being able to clutch up a lot of points too. That's what you want to be able to do for some of these teams, because remember, there's gonna be one group at the end of day 3 for group stages that's not gonna be playing, so you might as well just be able to do as much as you can. Now, I want to rewind a little bit, Max, towards phase 2 of 4 thrives. They were doing that 2-2 split. You were mentioning them. They're taking advantage of APG not being here.
Yeah, really, they're just, oh, well, we know we're not going to have to fight Alpha Gaming at the start of this match. Let's just go for this very passive 2-2 split. No one's going to really try and contest it early on. If it goes back to military, we regroup south. If it goes north, which ended up happening, we'll send it back up north, have a very easy transition, hold on to Lighthouse, hold on to the gas station, hold on to the warehouse. They almost had too big a split, but because they're so experienced around this kind of terrain, they're just like, we know what we're doing.
I mean, 9 times out of 10 in CSA, what we saw from them was them holding that exact position. So they absolutely know what they're doing when it comes to that. But I actually really liked the split. I can see what you're saying. It was like almost too much, but I think the control they had, the control that they garnered from actually doing that, made sure that they had so much info, they knew exactly how to play the next few phases.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the next plays they did after, I think you want to talk about their third party on Alpha 7 and XTMG, because that was a beautiful play from 4 thrives.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was playing to their strengths. If you're a team, as a team, you want to play to your strengths. Not every team knows how to do that. So for me to see that, to see them go, oh, A7, AXTMG, they're popping off. They're going at each other really heavily. We need to third party that, use that our strength, and then to not overdo it and not go over to AXTMG. Just take A7 and go, okay, we're done. We're going to go back. Really, really well thought out from them.
I mean, one player that absolutely popped off for 4 thrives, and I mentioned it. I'm glad I mentioned it right before. I was like, the best player of Pakistan ever, Falak, popping off with 7 eliminations, 1,000 damage.
Okay. He's cooking. More than that. Oh, yeah, we'll have to learn how to say in Pakistani. We might need it for Falak in particular. In the chat, tell us. We'll need a little bit of help, guys. But 7 eliminations, playing early on as the gatekeeper of the bridge, on the beams, trying to eliminate all of power. Luckily enough, he did get rezzed by one of his teammates, who was able to play until the late game. But he was not giving up any angles. If he saw you, chances are you're living for 5 seconds maximum. Falak is being ruthless here in PMWC, and we're just 3 games in. He's off to a great start.
Absolute eagle eye, right? And the thing is that this is usually what you want to see out of your star player, Neptune. You want him to be able to put up stats just like that.
You absolutely do. I think it was a really, really good thing coming in from him. You know, we were talking to him. He was very confident, as you said. That confidence is starting to show. It's not being the overconfident. It's just really confident. And his team is backing him up like a champ. I mean, they have got that synergy down. So it's really, really exciting to see them coming out of here.
Yeah, and you said they're confident, but they're also very respectful of this lobby. You talked about the third party with Alpha 7 and XTMG. They take Alpha 7, eliminate them. XTMG, that's maybe a bit too much. You know what? We're just going to take it back, and a lot of teams might have just fully committed and pushed in like, oh yeah, we're just feeling pretty good after eliminating Alpha 7. No, they go back, we have a strong position, we're going to play it safe. I like when a team can be both respectful and aggressive. That is the true mark of a champion in my eyes.
One team that I do got to give a shout out to that you just mentioned was AXTMG. This team is not shying away from fighting top dogs. That was the big question mark. Is AXTMG, with the lack of global experience that they have, are they going to be crumbling? Is everybody just going to be stepping over them? That's not the case so far.
No.
They're willing to take those fights, and they're willing to take them quick too. And one thing that we saw is whenever they go into close range, it can actually go their way too.
It can absolutely go their way. My big concern with them was their speed. I thought that they are actually a very slow team compared to the rest of the lobby, and that actually they've stepped up massively. They've seen that, oh, this is where our weak point is. This is where we could fall down and get overrun. They have stepped up massively in that regard. So really, really nice show from them.
Yeah, you were scared about the rotates. I was a little bit more scared about their DBS game because you know, as a region that hasn't played globally for a long time, he has the special invite team. I was like, is your DBS and S12K game on point? And I was talking to Ocean Sharma. He said, it's good. But I was like, is it good enough? Well, clearly it has been good enough for some of the fights, like in Ruins on Sanok, for example. So that's a doubt that's kind of gone away for XTMG. Seems like they can back it up. And I do also enjoy how they played this game. They knew they weren't going to win this match.
Yes.
After that encounter with Alpha 7, we're not going to win this. We're going to play it passive. Let's try and aim for top 3 with a few eliminations. That is really nice to see when a team understands we're not taking this. Let's just gather as many points as humanly possible.
And that's the player, right? Just gather as many points as you can. But let's take a look at the overall as we're halfway
what a
through
lead.
day one. Or Thrives, 43 points. Hora Esports, 25.
Thrives, chill.
I'm cleaning my glasses just to make sure I'm reading that right. And that is a healthy lead for Thrives.
It's what you want to see in the group stage, right? When you know you have a day off at some point over the next 2 days, right? It's either tomorrow or the last day. You want to get as many points as possible today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at DRX in particular. If we're going to go on a negative quickly on the first page, they got 10 placement points. They have 1 chicken dinner. Quick math, that means 0 points back-to-back on their angle. This is the map you have the most every day, DRX, okay? You are the Korean team. You have the Korean champions here, normally of D plus Kia. You're replacing them at PMWC, kinda. We need to see more, and unfortunately, outside of Sanok, nothing's been happening as you go to the second page here. Quite a few SEA teams in E-Arena in particular.
When we're talking about teams that we need to see more out of, one that just pops into my head right away is Weibo Gaming. The hype that this team had, I was on that hype train too. Right now, they're just not being able to put up any points, Neptune.
I think it's just kind of odd, but I do wonder if maybe, I mean, day number 1 is all about kind of adapting, so maybe we're going to see some better rotations, but also they've just not really been in play at all.
Sook didn't find a bow yet. That's right.
Oh, that's right.
You'll
That's
find
true.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I can't wait. Let's send that over to Barton because I want to see what's going to be happening here in Erangel in the next match.
Welcome back to the Gadia Arena, where we are halfway through our first day of the group stage. But don't worry if you're only just joining us, because I'm here to break down everything if you might have missed it. Game 1, we had Sandhawk, and we opened up with a bang because AXTMG hot dropped right next to Nongshim Red Force. AXTMG came out on top in that fight, but ultimately at the end of the map, it was indeed DRX that went up against Team Falcons in a 4v3. DRX came out on top in that fight and managed to secure the first chicken dinner of the competition and 19 points. Next up, we had Erangel. Erangel kicked off From the start, Team Secret were looking strong, holding the east side of the circle and ultimately not letting anyone come in behind them. However, it was Alpha 7 who had one thing on their mind, and that was survival, with the duo of Carrillo and Revo reviving each other constantly throughout that entire map and ultimately defeating Team Secret in the final fight and securing 20 points for them. Map number 3 started off a bit slower, a bit cleaner, because it was indeed a lot of people switching up their drops as I am lowered down in the stage. And 4 Thrives have to have an honorable mention for having such an impressive day, taking out Alpha 7 as well and managing to secure their first chicken dinner with 14 eliminations. What a first day we are through so far, but we're only halfway, 3 more maps to go. So let's hear some energy in the arena, because we're going to go into our next map very soon.
There it is. We are halfway through. That's the important talking point. Halfway through today's maps, number 4 of 6. We hop back into Erangel, as Neptura said at the beginning of the show. That should be the bread and butter for multiple teams. However, it hasn't been. But we do have some top dogs at the top, Alpha 7 being one of them, looking to make it straight into the finals. 4 Thrives, though. John, going all the way, it seems. We talked about a point threshold. You're thinking it's around 80. 4 Thrives have already reached that.
They have certainly outperformed on today's games, right? 2 matches in, they are over 40 points there. That is half of the way to that metric, right? If you're looking at previous tournaments that have been played with a 12-map set, it is around the 80-point mark that you will see for 8th place on 24 teams. They've done half of the work that they need to do over these next few matches. It means that over the next 9 matches, they're looking, over the next 9 matches, they are going to need to look to put 40 more points on to feel nice and safe. Yeah. That is a pretty low average.
I would say so. You know, we see some big games, but we were talking about it. Consistency is key, not only here, but also in life. Let me not get too deep already. It's my first global event here, but I will say 6 points or so, you're saying, I think is where you want to be. But granted, that's, of course, not counting the first 3 games. We've got some teams towards the bottom. Now, we'll talk about them over time. Power's been struggling, right? Nogshim Red Force have also been eliminated quite early throughout multiple games, and they're not the only ones, but I do want to say the race for top 8 to make it into finals is still very, very close. We've got to keep our eye on from Team Secret and above, and of course the home favorite team, Falcons in 9th, looking to make their way up.
Yeah, absolutely. It is still very much all to play for at this stage. Because of 4 Thrives taking so many points from the lobby, that increases the volatility of the rest of the tables. It means that they're going to be closer to one another. It means that position jumps are going to be easier, or rather more difficult to fend off for the teams who have already got those top 8 spots. And it's going to be really exciting to see how that unfolds. I think that the most interesting team I saw on that table there towards the bottom was Regnum Kaya. This is disappointing for the reigning PMGO champs coming into this one. They need to step up. They need to step up fairly quickly. I have no doubt in my mind that they can do it. The question is, will they bring it to bear today?
That's the question. We got a nice zone. Liking it, potentially setting up for a bridge zone. I love bridge zones. More importantly, I love military, but most likely going over to the mainland. But I do want to focus in as we've got 2 teams maybe about to skirmish out over on military. Of course, talk about Fireflux, and you got Team Secrets most likely going to be running into each other. They could have a truce. Maybe they say, hey, you go over to the right side bridge, we'll take over to left, and we'll just go our own way. But if I'm Team Secret, I've been on fire today. I'm not going to be intimidated by anybody. And you want to talk about being on fire? Fireflux is quite literally there in the top 3 running. So I'm looking at them to potentially be one of the front runners in the engagement. But who knows? We'll see how it ends up unfolding. What else do we see?
At the moment, it looks like Team Secret might just be heading out to the east, disengage. West and east bridges both available still. At the moment, it doesn't seem like too much more is unfolding. I feel like George Pole is potentially a little bit of a hotspot for contest on this northwest side. 2 teams in South George, Alpha 7 up in North George. That crossing down south that, because of this first circle, is going to happen for Alpha 7, could be under duress, could be a little bit of conflict in their future.
Yeah, but you got to think about who they're going against, right? E-Arena, who, well, let's face it, they've been struggling, only sitting at 8 points, currently in 13th place, and Alpha 7 being the top dogs they are. Winning that game, by the way, game 2 with 2 players was phenomenal. I could not believe my eyes. You actually called it early. I wasn't a believer until the very end, but able to get, what, 4 to 5 revives overall. It was Revo and Korea who was able to get that win. So if I'm E-Arena and, of course, having to rotate rotate down, I've got to go against Galacticos. That's not going to be an easy fight for either of those rosters. So for Alpha 7, I'm still favoring them, but you're right. I think we will have a skirmish soon.
They could always break out further to the east, right? There is always that option to go for a wide swing, but depending on the pace that they can loot, the pace that they can get out of North George, they may be able to avoid that altogether. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Team Secret, they did move all the way over to Novo. This is on the military island right now on your screens. They did move out east, so no conflict here for the time being. The question I have is where are Fireflux going to rotate? I expect Team Secret to be going over the east bridge. I'm wondering if Fireflux are going to try and join them, because you're going to be aware that 4 Thrives are going to be on the other side of that bridge. And right now, I don't feel like you want to head towards this team.
I don't think so. 4 Thrives, they're obviously the top dogs for a reason. Will they be the top dogs by the end of this tournament? Who knows? But right now, they are undisputably the best with more than double the points, even over second, which is Hora. But I would think so, though. You know, for Fireflux, I would go to the right side bridge alongside that at Team Secret. But then you have Power over there, too. And Power, I don't know. There's no reason for them to go too deep into the zone as of yet. Bridge camp potential, you think?
It could be. I mean, it does potentially waste a little bit of time. It looks like 4 Thrives are going to disengage from that bridge position over towards a more central location, up towards that hill ridge that sits further north. But there's always time to come back as well. We'll have to see if that yo-yo comes through. And actually, Yangon Galacticos on the move. Okay, so that opens the door for Alpha 7, which was potential for them to find that path on in. Getting very, very central, nice and quickly. Into 5 minutes in the game and already finding a central spot. Reckon Kaya looking to do the same.
Yeah, taking a little bit of damage, but they're going to be just fine for the time being. This is a team that was much hyped up coming into PMWC, a team that needs to start gathering points. As we said, we're on our halfway point. Only 9 more games remain. Yeah, you've got 3 days of group stage, but the teams only played 2 of those days, a total of 12 games. 3 are already gone. With the point race being as close as it currently is, I know they're in 12th place, I should say, but they can easily jump right up with how close it is all the way up to top 8. And well, DRX on your screen, a team that ended up starting off the day hot with the winner chicken dinner. They're currently in 6th place. It's going to be nice and quiet for the time being.
Yeah, just bunkering down right now. Early circles, keeping it chill, keeping the nerves in check. Something that I would love to see is like heart rate monitors coming.
Yes, we need that.
That would be really sick. Although to be fair, 64 heart rate monitors, that sounds like a nightmare.
Absolutely.
To be honest. But either way, I mean, it'd be so interesting to see how these players are affected by it. Obviously, early game, you're expecting some low tempos, but you can imagine it goes through the roof in those final moments. Unless, you know, you're Revo and Carrillo in those final moments. Just super chilling.
You know, Alpha 7 is one of those teams that are just always so relaxed, it seems, and you got to appreciate that. I think that owes to their success. Falcons getting active, which good on them, the home team. I know the crowd's been going crazy for Team Falcons, as you would expect. A lot of the crowd set up actually right behind the Falcons roster, so they're hearing the loud roars every single time they pop off. For Team Falcons, they were center zone. Of course, they've got a lot of teams around them, but I do believe where they're currently at is, again, they're going to be chilling. Not a lot of teams want to fight at the moment. They'll do it if they have to, but for now, it's all about positioning into stage 2.
Absolutely. For the Falcons, they came into this tournament obviously as the winner of their region, coming in from Europe and qualifying through there. They won via a smash ruling. So if you want to take a look at that, make sure you go and check it out. But not yet, because we've still got more game to play. Unfortunately, it felt like some of the time, especially during the earlier stages of that tournament, they weren't quite as cohesive as they need to be to take on the global levels. They moved into the finals, and it felt like they had pieced it together, right? At the moment, they've got Redox, Koa, Narvalo, Ralph playing on the roster. It felt like sometimes there was a little bit of disarray in and amongst the roster, but right towards the end, they did show up. I was worried coming into this tournament that those early stages would come back and that performance would recur. For now, it seems like they're holding their nerve. There have been 1 or 2 missteps today in some pretty crucial moments, but I think for now, I'm pretty happy with where they're sat, up in 9th place, 18 points. They've got this first point on board as well.
Yeah, it's day 1, right? Since only 3 games in. We talk about teams struggling, but you know, right now it's time to get your feet underneath you, get used to the LAN environment. There are several players out there, this is their first LAN, and it hits differently, right? When you're playing at home, you're nice and comfortable, there's no pressure virtually, you're feeling okay. When you come to the LAN experience, you got crowds yelling at you, maybe booing you, maybe cheering you. You got a mix of emotions. For Team Falcons, I think they're doing just fine, and you talked about their progression. Well, we need to see progression from so many different rosters, and honestly, for me, Alpha 7, I wasn't happy with their America's performance, I really wasn't, but I think that narrative's out the window. I'm feeling good. We shift now to mainland, and now we get to see Forthrise. They're going to gatekeep, of course, one of the rosters going across.
Fireflux are already trying to make their way through, but this eastern side is really heating up around Potato Hill. You've got Aura trying to make their way on through. Power leading the charge from that side of the map. Influence Rage going for a wide sweep out towards the north. The question is, where are they going to cut in? Are they going to go all the way out? Maybe challenge Alpha 7. There's potential there, depending on how far they go. They know they'll be on a home ground fight, right? Influence Rage versus Alpha 7. These two rosters will be familiar with one another. Yeah. They could have a little bit of an edge in this fight potentially, or the same could be true on the other side.
Influence Rage on your screen. Been happy with this roster through America's second place. They played so very, very well. In fact, even outdoing that of Alpha 7 during the PMSL Americas season. Well done from them. They've not done too bad. I know they're in 10th place, but again, that point gap, that point spread is just so incredibly close. But we're talking 4 points from going from 10th up to top 5, right? So for Influence Rage, happy they're going to be on the dead side of the zone in the north. I'm very curious how that's going to end up paying off for them. I want to see them make a deep run. I feel like Influence Rage is a roster. They've been around. We've talked about them on the global stages before, but this is the year I think they're truly going to show what they're made of.
I would hope so, but it seems like they have always been the little brother of the region, right? They are there, they're powerful in their own right, but they just haven't been able to take that next step. Maybe they'll find that development here, but I feel like with Big Brother's Alpha 7 in the lobby, it's going to be hard to try and take that fight.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great point, right? When it comes to Americas, it was a region that we paid attention to mainly for Brazil, North America. I know we've got our struggles. We're going to try and make it back up eventually. We're getting better, I promise you. But when you talk about the Big Brother of Alpha 7, I saw a massive improvement across the board from all the rosters because they know they've got Alpha 7 to battle against. Trust me, they wanted to win PMSL Spring Season 2025. And unfortunately, of course, some of them didn't, but for others, they did dethrone Alpha 7. Alpha 7 barely made it to this stage. Let's put that into perspective. They're doing great now, but I really do think Alpha 7's performance, them winning last year at EWC, truly made the other rosters say, I've got to step it up. You talk about little brother, they're looking to be the big brother now.
Absolutely. Try and have a little bit of regnal combat going on through. Take that throne away from Alpha 7. We'll be making sure to keep up to date to find who will be able to take that top spot. But is it even going to matter, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about that global interaction. Sure, you can increase the quality of those lobbies, but then how does that playstyle move into the current stage of gameplay? And with the experience that Alpha 7 has at this level,
right?
I think that is going to be a massive, massive hurdle to overcome for the teams looking to catch up. In a regional stage, sure, it's intense, sure, it's a lot, but when you put the international stage together, it changes the game entirely. It changes how the lobby plays, how it feels, everything about it, the lights on the stage. It can be a real task to overcome. Hard southwest shift on this circle, all the way out towards a pretty similar location where we saw this last match finished as well, out to the southwest side of Pachinki on those hills. You've got DRX slap bang in the middle. They've been hiding there for a long time in collection.
They have, and they like to play it slow, but hey, make no mistake about it, they can get active if need be. You push into them, you've got a heck of a fight on your hands. Half of the lobby, quite literally half of the lobby, have to now rotate into the next stage, and you got a couple of teams who are set up. And talking about the couple, well, you've got them right here, right in front of you. Alpha 7, we talked about this fight. When was it going to go down? E-Arena landing up top alongside that of Alpha 7. Now they finally come and they bump head to head.
Mormon with the first blood drawn there. Revo goes down and immediate, looking for the refrag through the window, not going to find it. Sliver of HP still there, and now with a nade cooking, it's Alpha 7 who are biting the dust more so than ever. Joker went down earlier, but now it's 3 players alive, and Alpha 7 can't find the fights. Ternike goes up the stairs, and immediately with the pump action around the corner, Alpha 7 coming apart of the seams.
Alpha 7, they're falling apart. Carrillo, can he be the hero? Can he be the one to save the day? They're already in shambles. He would be the only one leaving this engagement. Influence Rage, mind you, they might come in for the third party. This fight needs to be finished up, but Carrillo throws a Molotov, and it's going to at least drop one from E-Arena. arena, and Carrillo going for an off angle, taking damage, but he has no choice but to push forward, and he's making the most of it. Alpha 7 refusing to lose.
Not yet. They will not go quietly. An Influence Rage on the south side looking to guard this one out. Carrillo, though, could slip through the cracks as a solo. It's a lot easier to go unnoticed, but unfortunately, the firefight around him has drawn the attention of their regional teammates, and they will have to move through it. Carrillo, I don't expect him to be getting too much further, but he could leave north side, try and get in amongst it.
Well, they did it as a duo. Can Carrillo do it as a solo? That would be even crazier. Don't count him out, but I agree with you. Now you're going for placement points. You're in survival mode, and luckily for Carrillo, Influence Rage has backed away. It doesn't look like they're going to crash in on him, so should be just fine. And, well, he'll be a solo, wreaking havoc on the remaining rosters. Falcons moving in as Course Vision now wants to take on the Falcons. Let's see how it unfolds.
A double roll-up again as teams start to move. This is what hard shifts bring. Action left and right. Redox on the inside goes down first. The pump action from Never Alone and the flush as well. So Falcons fighting with 3. Now Valo wins the trade. The pump action winning the day, and a second as well. Koa's there for the backup. There's a nade. It doesn't sit. And Navalo can now look for this healing on the northeast side. Aura are nearby, and it looks like they're going to roll in for the fight.
There it goes. Hey, Aura wants this. They need it. Points so valuable to catch up. They're already in top 3, but they want a little bit more. Vision taking damage on the stairway, but don't worry, because you got Narvalo from the Falcons who's been holding it down, and you mentioned Horror. Well, here they are. Sleepy, no fear, starting to take the house opposite of Team Falcons. We've now lost a roster, and all attention on Falcons versus Horror now.
Massive pickup on the back line of Horror as well, meaning they're 2 players on the inside. Losing that off angle is huge. It draws the attention out that way, and a knock on the forefront as well. Falcons are splitting the difference here on the fight beautifully as they will look for more.
Narvalo, I mean, he has just been doing quite literally everything. All eyes on him. The tip of the spear for this roster to take down Sleepy and No Fear. Ralph also moving in as well. You gotta think they've got a power position. That stairway is always hard to push up, though. It's gonna be a choke point, and you know dang well Horror's gonna be looking straight down it.
Immediately finding these flushes as well. They beautifully split the attention. An off angle, a third party coming through from Power as they sweep through the back line, and it is going to be turning tail and running the story for Horror now in the rest of this match. 2 players alive. Sleepy's not long for this one. The point gets stolen though, and it goes over to Power.
So now Jiggle Sky, they're going to go in and dip. They're going to get within zone. They're going to play the survival game like Alpha 7's Carrillo, but I'd rather have 2 than 1. Either way, that's how it ended up unfolding. Power Esports, who's had such a struggle throughout our tournaments. Not one of the first teams out, mind you, so maybe good news for them. We talk about at the halfway point, 9 more games remaining. I'm hoping Power is able to turn things around in this airing game.
We didn't really talk about it too much with all the fighting going on, but the circle shift was another hard southwest side shift, which means that Falcons had to move fast and early. Unfortunately, they weren't in the best of shapes to do it, as Horror do finally bite the dust. It means that Falcons are going to have to crash in a suboptimal situation to the north side. Same story going to be true for Power, as they have now wasted a little bit of time, I think it's safe to say, on this northeast side.
So Phallic, he's going to be the scout, kind of breaking away from 4 Thrives, who are going to be just up to the northeast of where he's currently at, and maybe calling out Solus, who I believe is down, if I'm not mistaken. We do have a bit of a crash, though. Falcons continuing to get into engagements, and this time it doesn't work out.
Regnum Kaya, the ones to receive that in the ditch, in the divot. It's going to go down for the Falcons, and I don't think that their lone player is going to get to, hang on a minute, take it back. Koa with a drive-by onto Romeo, hits him with a runaround, and we'll be able to survive a moment or 2 longer. But really no safe ground in this central area. These hillsides are littered with Caltrops.
Yeah, for Galacticos, we obviously tuned in with them just a little bit, but they got teams all around them, including Power, but Power is not having a good time. Galacticos are taking them down left and right. Falcons also eliminated some heavy dogs already out.
Yeah, that was the final player, Koa, going down. He was not able to find any respite in the middle. And now with 4 teams or so looking to try and hold it out, seems like Regnum Kaya want to extend their influence. A nade over towards Easy connects, and that is going to be a beautiful opener. 2 players now standing for Power as there's teams behind them also looking to put pressure on. Rolling on out, Regnum Kaya not going to let Easy go down, and the 2 and 2 roll around will be good for it. However, there is a sideline that they need to be worried about. Get the cover in. Wild low as well. The vehicle's going up in smoke, and Loxy's down all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's down, and I believe that was a third party from DRX way off in the distance. distance, getting some shots out. And, well, we got Team Secret also trying to survive. I mean, you got so many teams in shambles, and when you got to go to these shacks, I call them the Death Shack, you're in a lot of trouble. But the teams have spread out quite a bit. I'm actually surprised we've lost so many rosters and players at this stage of the game.
This open field situation, this open hillside that sits to the north of it, these two hard southwest shifts followed by a northeast shift, maybe giving a little bit of pause for a breather, but still those two hard shifts that we saw in a row have really changed the tune here in the lobby. It's forced teams to take fights where they wouldn't have wanted to otherwise, and now at 18.5 minutes in, we're down to 10 teams, and a lot of those teams not looking healthy.
Take a peek at Fireflux racing against Papa Blue. Influence Rage just above them. Talk about Fireflux landing over on Military. Would they have a bit of a skirmish from 4 Thrives on the Western Bridge? That doesn't end up happening, so they're still alive. Now down to, of course, just a handful of teams. Circle closing in, another shift about to begin, excuse me, as Fireflux starts to get active a little bit. Luckily, they got on the vehicles. The question is, can Influence Rage, do they get aggressive? Obviously, they have to move. Do they set position up to the right-hand side to cut off Fireflux's rotation?
Be tricky here for both of these teams on the southwest side, and Fireflux are first to move. For the moment, Influence Rage still holding in their compound near Quarry, and they're going to have to try and go in a little bit later. So Fireflux, where are they going to opt to crash in? They've already sent 2 players towards this Regnum Kaya stronghold. I don't know how that's going to go for them. We know that there's third-party angles on there. They're already getting lit up. Scarface with a slow roll around the side, but the vehicle takes him down. It's Regnum Kaya and Nongshim Red Force on the crossfire. Now the 2 remaining players of Fireflux going to try and send Long over to the north side. A straight cut through the circle on the western flank. And in the meantime, in the wake of that rotation, Influence Rage push in from the west.
Yeah, they're coming in, and they're going to be coming in hard. It's going to be a big push from them. Regnum Kaya needs to watch out, of course, as Influence Rage, a dominant team. Fireflux, I cannot believe that they're still alive in this moment. It's so unfortunate they lost 2 of their players, so now they've got to go at it. And, well, Influence Rage actually looked to be crashing in on Korea, who's been a solo for the longest time.
He has been alive, and he's going to keep trying as 4 Thrives go down as well. In the meantime, Korea with his full send straight towards Fireflux. 2 players alive, but he goes too slow. No hop out to be seen, and Ketch finds a duck sitting in his sightlines.
That's it. And Fireflux, luckily for them, they will be dead center of the current zone. That's great, but also could potentially make you a target. You've got Galacticus, who's going to be just onto your left. Got DRX as well. Influence Rage, of course, are going to be moving in. We'll be keeping our eye out for Fireflux, and of course, at the moment. And also Team Power, man, I gotta say, for Team Power's perspective, just still struggling. I thought for a good moment they were gonna have a great game based on their positioning on the north, but just got too rough for them.
They weren't quite able to convert here. Fireflux do finally go down. The last 2 of Regnum Kaya sidle on in, but Silas needs a little hand here from Wild, as they only have 2 players to go. Yangon Galacticos on the northwest edge also can put pressure onto this location, but they're being a little bit slow with it. They're more concerned about Influence Rage on the west side, who have been, again, very slow, very tepid in their rotational pace here on the west edge.
As things start to slow down just a little bit, shots are ringing out, but nobody really at risk of going down except for Lil Boy. I would say Galacticos trying to take him down. They will do so. The rest of the Influence Rage roster, I guess, a little bit separated. Lil Boy maybe being a scout, can't get away. And that's so unfortunate because they had such a strong position on this side of the map, and now they've got to recover and make a decision. Do we go for revenge, or do we just continue to play the dead zone, get in there, and maybe watch our backs? Because, of course, you know, Red Force, they're going to be moving in just behind them potentially, but I think that's an oversight, leaving Lil Boy out by his own. But they're going in, they're crashing.
They may have expected Yangon Galacticos to go further forwards, in which case Lil Boy would have been in prime location to take those backstab shots when Influence Rage need to move up north. They overinvest potentially on that angle, and Yangon Galacticos have excellent wherewithal to be able to read that and take down that player at the back. Very, very cautious, but it works out well for them. And now they can be the ones to put the pressure on Influence Rage as they take a fight on 2 fronts. You could see on the minimap this vice grip that now sits around this Influence Rage position.
So they got to make a decision. Push forward, push back. Staying where you're currently at could be a death trap. And they look like they were going to push in onto Nogshim Red Force, but they don't make the full commitments. And in the meantime, yeah, you see them still taking their time. The more time you take, the more of an opportunity for a third party. The nade, luckily, just a bit short. Law's going to be okay. And with them hopping in cars, are they disengaging?
Well, they saw Silas rolling up, and I was watching Silas just there, and he randomly decided to send towards Yangon Galacticos. He did get a lot of info on their location, but he took a lot of damage in the process. He's slow rolling behind the vehicle, looking for a time to pop that first aid, but he didn't put the handbrake on here, and it is just going to keep rolling away from him.
Oh, the nade. So close, Silas. Down, unfortunately. Tough break for him. We focus now on DRX. Reginald just up ahead. DRX has had such a great day. This fight should be no different, you would have to assume anyways. For Reginald, Kara, they gotta obviously make a bit of an impact here. For Influence Rage, by the way, standing strong, taking down the team opposite of them, of course, Noxum Red Force. That's gonna be a great opportunity now to gain a couple more points, move up. Granted, only 2 players, but still, with that gap being the top 8, so close to them already breaking into top 8, I think this game could be very valuable.
Absolutely, they do have 2 players alive, losing Diego in that fight. They will be playing on from that southwest side. Yangon Galacticos disengaged because of this crazy play from Silas, so a little bit of a breath of life potentially into this Influence Race position. Ooh, Weibo though, find the pick off onto Lorazin, and on the back lines, that's going to leave Influence Rage on just 1 player remaining now, and that is going to make things real tough for them. DRX, again, been fairly quiet throughout this. They're up to 3 elims, but they have all 4 players alive. They're playing on this long side of the hill. They're going to start to be able to move up. It's Yangon Galacticos, DRX, these 2 opposing positions, and Weibo on the southeast side as well. Already on 6 elims, by the way. Having a brilliant game so far, who have a more central position here. The rest is dribs and drabs, ragtag bunch of solos.
Solos galore. That was from the early violence that we witnessed pretty early. I think, stage 1, stage 2, quite honestly. Law, though, very interested in what he's going to be able to do, only because as a solo, he can truly devastate essentially the positioning of not only the last player from Team Secret, but also Weibo, depending if he's able to penetrate that off angle. So he could be a thorn in their side, depending, but of course, all eyes on DRX and Weibo. And Weibo needs a good game here. This would be tremendous for him. They've been towards the bottom. They were much hyped up. In fact, I believe even in the power rankings, Weibo breaking into the top 3 for our analysts. So for them, this game could be exactly what the doctor ordered in order to rise up the ranks.
You would hope so. For a while now, the teams from the PL have been a little bit out of the spotlight, looking for a little bit of a resurgence here. We've got Thundertalk to look forward to, but for now, it is just Weibo flying that PEL flag. Yangon Galacticos now moving on in towards Wild, but he spots him and immediately step up, spray down, where he can't give him that broadside. Romeo feels the brunt of it, and Wild looks for another as well. 2 players rolling up, the spray down potential, but Wild will fall, and that will be Regnum Kaya out.
It's unfortunate. That fight was setting up for quite some time for Yangon Galacticos. Good on them. They stay up, they stay alive. Still 3 strong, mind you. So a chance to take this game is in, but now DRX also getting active. Weibo onto Yangon Galacticos up ahead. If I'm DRX, I'm now crashing in onto Galacticos, taking them down, because really once they do that, they control the entirety of the northern portion of the next stage.
The difficulty is what sort of angles do you expose to the south side here. There's this big saddle that Yangon Galacticos sit in. You can see DRX a little bit hesitant to go for the full send here. They're moving out to the west side as DRX do manage to keep that fight penned on in. Yangon Galacticos fall. They don't need to full flush. They have control of the north side entirely here. And now they can move back out to this eastern side and start to put pressure down south.
All right, so Team Secret, 1 alive. Meanwhile, you got a good old-fashioned 4v4. Weibo versus DRX. The overhead view showing you what's at stake. You got a little bit of elevation. DRX is going to be on the high ground. Meanwhile, the snakes in the grass of Weibo slowly inching their way up. The question is, once they apex that hill, is Weibo going to mow them down?
It's all on the spokes here in these final moments as Team Secret losing their final player. Well, hang on a minute. Take it back. Sorry, hang on a minute. Oh, no, a little bit of miscomms on the spray down. Finally, orders there. The suit can't quite connect. But now it is a full 4 versus 4. DRX, who have moved back out to this north side, have it fully under control. There's still an off angle played for her on that southeast side of Weibo Gaming. You can see that movement now coming up the hill towards that shack. And DRX looking to extend their influence here for South Korea.
Porter. You can't. I was going to say if you can get an off angle extend to the left, but it's a bit too tricky. A lot of utility was used from DRX a little bit earlier to take down Galacticos. I'm sure that They wish they at least saved a little bit of it so they can have this utility to apex that hill onto Weibo just up ahead. But at least the good news from DRX at the moment, nobody from Weibo really has like a tremendous off angle. Maybe suck over onto the left-hand side. But aside from that, like DRX with their wolf pack, it's going to be tough because Weibo's going to get up. They're going to shoot one. DRX is going to be able to focus fire everything onto 33Z, Order, or Zuck just onto the left-hand side. So honestly, in this position, I think I have to favor DRX.
It's all going to be up to the smoke play, right?
Sure.
You can really change the tide of a fight like this, especially on such a weirdly rolling terrain position. If you can create a smoke separation, you have a huge advantage, and you're talking about these off angles. Those can be assuaged with good smoke play, right? So it depends how you're able to target it. It also depends how much utility you've got left in these final moments. You can see that for Weibo Gaming, they've been through the ringer. They've got 9 elims already, but certainly on 33Z, there's no smokes, only one nade here.
He's the tip of the spear too. With his forward position, he's most likely going to be the one to attack first. And you need the rest of the rosters out there to help him out from Weibo. Order's going to throw out a smoke. We're now repositioning. He's going to take the lower end for 33Z's. Got a little nade going past him, but he's going to be just fine. Weibo now also in a buggy. They're getting active. I don't know. DRC better be ready for it. Excuse me, DRX. Better be ready for this engagement. Weibo, they're starting to get sneaky.
Playing on in the smoke, he drops that, sits in the backseat of the buggy, can get that little higher ground angle to look for the peaks, but DRX should know this is what's happening. And immediately these nades respond! DRX read it beautifully. They're like, what's that smoke doing there? What's that buggy doing there? Well, I think we know what we got to do. 3 pins pulled and 1 player falls. 33Z now looking to try and get an answer here. This res is going to be so difficult, Reflections.
I don't think they're going to get it. There's no way. Do you fully commit for that? Because you have to assume DRX is going to capitalize off of it. They're taking it slow, but once those smoke dissipate, they're going to get active, and DRX takes down yet another one. Another one will fall, and this should be the ending that DRX is looking for.
This is beautifully played by DRX, immediately capitalizing on that knock into the smoke. These smokes bloom on the top of the hill. They create sightline channels that they can play through. There's a res coming through for Weibo, and they do manage to get 3 players back up in an action, but Scissors forward now. 33 spotted, gets the knock. Is there an answer? Order looks for it, and they do find the challenge that they were looking for. Hurt is there as well, looking for that backup. In a 3 versus 2 though, DRX still have the numbers.
DRX has the numbers, but do they have the wherewithal to figure out where Weibo is going to be up to? It seems like the forces are falling, and I think this is finally going to be the end, albeit a miracle play. DRX closing the vice grip, pushing forward. Weibo falls, and it will in fact be DRX taking game number 4 on Aragao.
Lying in wait, they move through the hills, a coordinated approach, a brilliant read onto Order's buggy rotation, looking for vision, and they will be able to find that knock, open up the bidding on that final engagement. Not enough utility from Weibo to be able to survive that final fight. They've got plenty of points though on the match, and they will be nearly level with DRX to find that one. 16 points for Weibo, and DRX up on 18, so a fairly minimal Elim chicken dinner.
Hey, whether it's minimal or not, that's 2 winner-winner chicken dinners of the 4 that we've seen today, which shows DRX has the proven ability to take games when it matters most and win, which is going to be so critical during the finals. DRX, all eyes on them today, and well, they look to catch up to the likes of 4 Thrives, Alpha 7. In fact, they could have very well taken 2nd place after this game alone. Weibo are no slouches to take that 1v1 and win it. DRX on top.
Absolutely, a little bit of revitalization coming through for Weibo from the bottom of the tables, able to put a big dent in the necessary gameplay to find it. Well, let's take a breather after that one as DRX are able to take the 4th chicken dinner of the day.
Reach your impossible, Lenovo Legion.
highly anticipated addition to the Mummy series outfits is here. Paired with the new Ice Tube glider, the Polar Spectrophage set is just what you need to freeze your enemies. Or send them ablaze with the Inferno Feed set's new upgradable Chain Inferno Uzi. All the Mummy outfits are back. Get them all. Join now and collect the whole series to turn all eyes on the battleground. Event period, July 10th, 2025 through September 2nd, 2025.
Are you ready?
Smashed it.
One thing is for certain, there is an abundance of fans here in the arena. Influence Rage, talk to me. How's the performance from the team been so far?
I think we can do better.
Do better?
Yeah, we can do better.
Well, you're currently sat in the area of the crowd where all of the Team Falcons fans are. Is it a little bit scary for you?
Yes, I am.
Well, is there anything you want to say to the Influence Rage team right now? They need your support.
Let's go, Inf. I believe. Let's go.
You believe in Influence Rage?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can do it. Let's find out whether or not they can.
Well, it wasn't Influence Rage that got the win, but it was DRX being able to get the... It wasn't the back-to-back. It was the two-time winners of day one of PMWC at EWC 25. A big surprise, honestly. I was not expecting any teams to be able to get 2 chicken dinners in the first day. They were able to do it, Max.
Yeah, it was a back, break, to back. It just took a little break in the middle of that one. But a really good execution from them, playing it relatively safe on their side. Same for WBG. There was a lot of circle luck involved, I would have to say. A lot of teams that really didn't have to fight too hard for it compared to like an Influence Rage. It was just like, we just got to try and do something. Same for Yangon Galactico. So you had 2 options. Teams just like fighting to just survive, and teams just like, we're big chilling today. And they were.
Well, we've been wanting to talk about DRX. Another team that we've been wanting to talk about has been none other than Weibo. So let's go to the SMB head-to-head, DRX versus Weibo Gaming. And I mean, look at the damage that these 2 teams were able to put up, Natura.
Wow, that is actually a lot of damage, considering we didn't see anything from Weibo in that first half of the game at all. Like, completely silent from them. At all, yes. But I think it was just a really interesting game for them because they stacked up really, really close together. I think they were almost all in one shack, which is very risky, but it did work out. And then as soon as there was space around them to actually move and play, they actually spread out. They took control. They had a 3-1 split with an anchor in the field just to make sure things were moving smoothly. And it really, really worked in their favor, just able to spread out slowly, bit by bit, very steadily. There was nothing untoward. There's nothing overextending, nothing aggressive. But just by sheer movement, they were able to get that second place really well.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree on that one. I think they had a really good setup just to make sure we don't have a weak point behind us, right? Making sure you talk about that field angle, just make sure that no team is going to try and go for that wide rotate south or east to try and backstab you as possible. So very defensive play here, and because of that, they would get a second place with 16 points on the board. So very happy to see China here getting a big game.
And I'm pretty sure V2K is still going to be telling his team, we need to do better. Even though they ended up in 4th place there with those 9 points, one team that did end up doing better that I'm happy to see here in the first page, Max, is Regnum Karya Esports with 8 points, 6 of them coming from eliminations.
Yeah, actually a very, very big fight in the center versus, I think it was Fireflux. It's like, we're both from Turkey, guys. Let's be homies. Like, no, there's no peace between us right now. We have to fight for this position. A very good send onto Fireflux because you might say, well, the high ground position is just flat. Actually, you do have a slight dip and you just need to make sure you clear that area first, and then you just zone teams away, which they were trying to do. It wasn't a game-winning position. It was a position where you could get a ticket to a good top 5 position, which I think they understood that. We're not going to win this match. Let's just try and go as fast as we can and get a few eliminations, especially.
Yeah, I will say, though, as well, is that Regnum Karya in that 5th place, but the top 4 teams were all edge teams. That was something that I noticed in this game in particular. Everybody kind of just crashed to the center, except a few teams, and it was those teams that ended up getting that top 4 spot, at least in points-wise, at least in that match ranking, right? So this game was very heavily sided onto those teams that actually held off from that original fight and just kept it to the edge, kept that quiet space until the end game.
I mean, there was one team that you wanted to point out, too, in regards to Team Secret. They had a 1-2 split for the longest time.
Yeah, they did. They really, I'm surprised they survived as long as they did, because, like, you had a one player off into the hills right in the middle of where all that action was happening. And then you had the 2 off into the field just like hanging off, just checking out, making sure they got that placement. I'm surprised that worked as long as they did, because I think they got like top 6, top 7 out of that.
The game plan there is similar to what happened for Regnum Karya. We know we're not winning this game. Let's just play very split. Whoever survives, survives.
Yeah.
It's like a mini battle royale in the battle royale for your own team. And they do have at least 2 players survive until the very end. And as you said, like maybe a top 6 position, get a few points here and there.
Yeah.
So they knew this game was kind of a ride-off. They were able to claim at least a few points. So it's not a non-game for them to at least get something of value out of it. But you can even see as the replays here. DRX, the moment they start getting eliminations on WBG, they just claim so much control that WBG just fell like a house of cards instantly.
Yeah,
I like that quickness, right? We always talk about seeing these teams being able to react. Boy, did they end up reacting quick. And if we rewind it a little bit more towards the beginning of the match, a big surprise that we saw was Alpha 7 fully send it to E-Arena. E-Arena, though, they were able to defend it pretty good. And Alpha 7, ultimately, Carillo just coming out on top.
Carillo is like, that smoke means nothing. I can see right through it. Like, he had laser eyes. I don't know what happened to Carillo. He got like LASIK surgery or something, because he's got 10 out of 10 vision on both eyes. Yeah. He was able to then survive that one a little bit. He sent it to the center. That was quite unfortunate that he did get picked off, but hey, the thing is, even the IGL, right? A lot of people, the IGL sometimes is the weakest fragger. No, like Carillo can bring the heat. He can clutch up against E-Arena. So Alpha 7, if it's a full squad or a duo on that Rangorv earlier or a solo, they're always a threat in this lobby.
I mean, you got to remember, Carillo did start off as a fragger. That's what he was known for. And now he has become the IGL for one of the best teams in the world. And talking about the best teams in the world, currently 4 Thrives wanting to become that, as they're still sitting at the top there with 44 points, Neptura.
I'm just looking, and actually they are on top. You are exactly right. I can confirm. But what I'm looking at is actually DRX moving in. We had a big gap before this game, and DRX have managed to just smash right through that, double their placement points with that extra win. And now they are kind of threatening 4 Thrives' position at this point in time. I will say, though, just over halfway point, Max, none of our power rankings are looking particularly accurate at this point.
Yeah, as of right now, our prediction game is very off, which I would say is on brand.
Pretty bad.
So, you know, I wouldn't talk about it too much, but Yangon Galacticos, I was not really expecting much, but they are such an aggressive, oppressive team going into this. They're not scared of going for fights, which I like to see, because a lot of times you see underdogs just being a little bit too scared in lobbies like this. Like, we don't want to fight, we purely want to get placement points. No, Yangon Galacticos, if they see a team that have a very clear weakness, they will not be scared to go for that engagement on that position. So Yangon Galacticos, seeing them be this confident early on, is a very good setup for what's coming next.
I mean, and they showed it right away. They showed it from the start.
Yeah.
One thing, though, for everybody currently watching at home, from July 25th to the 27th and August 1st to the 3rd, log in to Summon Airdrops and collect 2025 airdrop vouchers to enter prize draws for official merchandise, smartphones, BD partner rewards, permanent in-game items, and more. Every participant is guaranteed to win. Additionally, from July 25th to the 31st, vote for your favorite airdrop partner for a chance to receive a special gift from them. I'm going to be doing it. Max is going to be doing it. Neptura is going to be doing it. Don't miss this year's airdrop carnival and unbox your surprise, because we're all going to be doing it, and I can't wait to see what surprises we're going to be unboxing, especially when we go to Miramar. And I kind of want you to go with the Dr. Suleiman Al-Habib hot take. Are we going to be getting any hot drops, Max?
Well, there's actually a lot of teams dropping in El Pozo, so I would say yes. El Pozo hot drop specifically is going to be happening.
El Pozo? Okay. All right. Neptura?
Yes. To answer your question,
Okay, right
Yes.
on. Yes.
What a hot take.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yes. My other hot take was that Miramar is hot, spicy. It's gonna be spicy.
Should we just ban her from the
I
hot
think
take
we should just.
segment? I
I'm
feel
gonna
like we
ban myself
should.
at this
Yeah,
point.
just
Yeah, they're not good.
This is no.
Now, at one point, going back to that last match, though, I think you mentioned something in regards to Fourth Thrives, Neptura. Is there anything you wanted to mention about them? Because it was a lackluster match considering that big gap that they had.
I think they were just too hesitant in that last game. They didn't know where to go. Honestly, they didn't have many options left to them. Maybe with Miramar being a bigger space, they'll be able to actually have those more options in a tricky zone. But we need to see a little bit more sort of proactiveness from them.
They did have a surprise though, Max. Fireflux came in from military base, and I think that they were not expecting that.
Actually, they didn't even really encounter each other, but they know this typically the pressure might rotate. There's going to be Fireflux. There was power earlier, so they're not being also completely careless because Alpha Gaming's not here. They're like, they might be a team, let's be a little bit respectful, but Alpha Gaming's going to be the real competition when they do encounter Group Green eventually later on down the line. But they were very cautious, but I do have to fully echo what you were saying here, Neptura, on this game. Very hesitant. I don't care if you go for a good or bad play decision. Commit to it as a full team. Your odds of being successful are way higher if you just send it on a big play. And you know what? Your sheer fragging power that we know Fourth Thrives have might be enough to just tear down any team they go up against.
Well, I think, and the team that we were all looking for them to actually go after was going to be Weibo, and if that would have happened, if they would have came out on top of that fight, guess what? It would have been a top 2 guaranteed. But you know what? I'm excited to see what's going to be happening here in Miramar. Let's send it over to Reflections and John Allen.
The tables keep on turning, and we will not stop. We're 1 and 2 more revolutions going around Miramar for 2 laps of the desert to see us out of the first day of games here with our first 2 groups on play. We've seen some miraculous turnarounds from these matches. DRX holding their nerve on the northeast side. We've seen Alpha 7 holding the riverbanks right now. But what will the desert have in store for us?
That's the question, isn't it? It's going to be a really good time as DRX take over second place after a tremendous win. They've won 2 out of the 4 games today. Question is, what can they do for the first time on Miramar? A map where teams start to wake up, more specifically from the Americas region. Influence Rage do very, very well on Miramar. Alpha 7 as well. I've seen them drop 20-plus elimination games on Miramar. That would be insanity if they do it here. But top 8 is what they're shooting for. Currently, top 6, still very healthy. But you want to finish off day strong. You want to finish off, in top 8. Doing so will then set you up very nicely going into your next group stage matches. We've got a pretty standard playing path, which means we shouldn't see too many crazy drops.
Yeah, we are going to be fairly fair on the start of this Miramar here in terms of achieving that top 8 towards the end of this tournament, right? Well, the first league stage, rather, of this tournament. You're going to be looking, as we said, during that last match, probably around that 80-point margin, which sits you at 6 2/3 point average if you're doing specific exact math.
Sure.
So if you're looking to get above that, you want to be putting up 7-8 points average, right? To feel a little bit more comfortable when it comes towards those later games, if you're able to keep that up. So over these first 4 matches, you're going to be looking up towards the mid-30s right now to be looking a little bit more healthy. Obviously, 32 points would be really nice, but not too many teams have been able to break that 30-point barrier just yet. However, it is always more dramatic, the curve of the point scoring going over this one. A pretty dramatic circle shift as well, coming on through all the way down to the south side here.
I said standard. Well, it's not going to be. We go all the way down low to the south, which for all those rosters who are still up in the air, right, going to their original POI, their landing POI, now have to rotate towards the south, which, of course, you know there's going to be a lot of competition going your way. And so for Hora Alpha 7, maybe going to run into a bit of a scuffle for Team Vision. They've got the longest travel all the way up towards the top side, but that's just the way it goes. It's going to be relatively slow until the very end. But for DRX, another great position inside stage number 1, which could put them in an amazing spot to potentially win 3 out of the 5 games today.
That would be pretty incredible. And the fact that there's 2 chicken dinners and they're not in first place is kind of miraculous. But, you know, that's just how Fourth Thrives like to play it. And Fourth Thrives didn't have a great game last time around. So DRX certainly have stiff competition, letting themselves down on those non-winning games, right? And when we talk about averages, you really have to look at these lower performing games. And for DRX, that is what is currently dragging them down. They would be miles ahead of the field. Sure. Doing miles for your benefit, of course. You know.
I appreciate your freedom units, baby.
Absolutely. But they would be absolutely streets ahead of everybody else in this lobby if they could bring up those averages. I always give this comparison, right? You can look to earn 12 more points in one match, or you can look to earn 1 more point in 12 matches. And it is if you could do that every single time consistently, that will build up to the same result. Sure, you can look for those 18 elim chicken dinners.
Yes.
Or you can look to put 2 more points on average every single game. And those are the small differences that really start to bring up these averages that can really power you through these tournament stages.
It goes back to that consistency conversation, right? You can have a great flash in the pan game, but if you only have 1 out of the 12 games you're playing in group stage, that's incredible. Yeah, you'll be up 40+ points, and well, then it starts to dwindle away, and by the time you reach the final game of your group play, now you're in trouble. You've got to go for another Hail Mary attempt, and well, it might not work out, and typically it doesn't, so you'd rather average a better position than, of course, have just a good flash in the pan play. By the way, thank you once again for doing the miles. We were talking kilometers the other day, and I'm trying to think to myself, what's the conversion rate from kilometers to miles to teaspoons? I couldn't tell you because I don't even know the difference between a rock and a ficus, man. I get so lost in the conversation.
It's about 17 millimeters, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. DRX, though, they might have had a central position, but Yangon Galacticos getting aggressive, like Max was saying on the desk, trying to take that from them, and immediately taking down one of the South Korean players there, losing and going down to 3. Smiles on the chase as well. He wants more.
He wants more, and he might get it. Shots potentially connecting a bit shaky. It's far out there. I don't blame him, but he at least says, hey, I'm still here. You cannot take any respite. You cannot rest. Keep on going and get out of our location. But the question is, who else is going to be around him? Because this is a pretty tightly contested area. You got YG, you got Reginald. You also have, of course, Weibo, who's going to be just up ahead. Now they're honestly going straight into Falcons, who are going to be just below them, who might be rolling up into them.
Could potentially be, but we'll have to wait and see. They're still a couple 100 meters out. That backstop for DRX is looking to be maybe contested, you're right, but it seems like they've fallen short. Up in towards Chumacero, which is where Weibo and Regnum Kaya currently sit, they are less likely to be pushing further south, right? They're less likely to be moving up into these hills right now. It's a difficult ascent when you know there's teams already in there. It will be difficult if it goes further south, but I imagine they're going to look potentially to split around the sides. Currently just looking to hold a little bit more pressure there. They'll have the high ground in Chumacero, hopefully under control, fingers crossed. But for now, they're just trying to keep the teams moving in from that north side out and force them into these coastal rotations.
Falcons in a great spot, looking pretty good. They need a decent game. Feel like they've kind of fallen a little bit behind, but still relatively healthy within the top 9. As we look at their position, the question was, would they be able to see DRX? And they can, way off in the distance, but for the meantime, there's no reason to get antsy. For the teams who are down here towards the island, like, they're chilling. There's no reason for them to engage. There's no reason for them to get too crazy, unless you're trying to, of course, overtake one of the hillsides. For DRX even, despite an early loss, losing a teammate, I would still say they're relatively healthy, right? They've got 3 members up. They're still relatively center zone. For them, no reason to get too crazy. Fourth Thrives, though, maybe getting into an engagement with Weibo up top. You got IQ, who's already down and out. The question is, Fourth Thrives, do they challenge once again for the hilltop? No, they do not. They are dipping out.
Alpha 7 are behind this as well, about a kilometer out of this, so it could potentially run into this fight if it carries on. But Fourth Thrives, you're right, disengage. They don't want this fight. This is a really good opening for Weibo to maybe look to transition to the hills on the south side. It's difficult when you don't know the timing of the teams approaching you to try and establish. And with Fourth Thrives backing up, they're going to shunt straight on into Yangon Galacticos, who, remember, crashed into DRX earlier on, but they find out just what is waiting for them. They figure it out immediately. They're straight back down the hills.
Straight back down. They see it. They dip away. they're gone. Couple of warning shots. Hey, don't come back around our area. We're controlling this hilltop, and Weibo in a power spot for sure, without question. Still very tightly contested. Alpha 7 now starting to get a little bit active coming into where Weibo's at. Of course, a lot of distance still separating them 100 meters, as I just learned from you just a couple seconds ago. But yeah, for the rest of the rosters moving in, you know, it's still going to get even tightly contested up in the northern side, especially if we have a shift up there. Things could get wild for all the southern teams.
It certainly could. It is going to be the South Chumacera Hills, still the focal point. I'm waiting for this second circle to pop before we go a little bit crazy here, because we do have that potential Partona finish. That Minas del Sur area could potentially be on the cards. It's a little bit unlikely. In fact, I would say bordering on impossible, but it could be the case, right? The second circle shift can be pretty titchy when it comes to the cutout on the area. So we'll see where we end up. We still got about 20 seconds or so before that one comes on through. And we'll have to see where that drops. Could go over to Los Leones as well, or center up on Chumacera to the north.
Find out very shortly. The arena set up nicely inside of a compound themselves. Team that desperately needs to finish these two Miramars strong. Take a peek at the map as it will be transitioning very shortly. Every team very, very healthy. We do have a shift towards the south, which is going to be great for DRX. Honestly, even better for Alpha 7 as far as I'm concerned. They've got Horror moving in, but for Alpha 7, DRX, some heavy hitters still looking strong in this next stage.
I was interested to see if anyone is going to go down to this south island,
like Falcon,
try and head on through. It looks like they might be taking that option, or they could. I think they're just wrapping around the coast for now. But potentially could branch out.
Alpha 7 down to Carrillo as well.
Carrillo, I mean, they're moving. Yeah, they're moving. They're still just on this coastline, but it could be a crash between the Falcons and Alpha 7 on this coastline. Influence Rage trying to send straight on past. Weibo allow them through here and trying to get more central towards Yangon Galacticos. It looks like Regnum Kaya have a similar idea. Teams are moving fast.
Fast indeed. Question is, when do they run into each other? Eventually, they're going to have to. Influence Rage still has a lot of distance between them and other rosters. It looks like Carrillo has backed away, by the way. I got a little bit worried because if you go back to the last area we casted, Carrillo was isolated by himself from his teammates, and that was really unfortunate. You don't want to see too many teams splitting up as much as they do, and Alpha 7 does have a tendency to do that. Granted, typically they hold their ground, but running into a full-fledged unit of Falcons would have been scary for Carrillo, but they get back together. Here it is, Influence Rage. Regnum Kaya also going to be very, very close to each other, but for the meantime, it looks like everybody is settling down.
Loxy defending this new roll-up position for Regnum Kaya, all four of them in the same spot. They're going to look to start to extend their influence over the compound, establish some sight lines. Silas now repositioning on the vehicle, and it looks like they just want to get on the inside of this warehouse. Holding out these sight lines is going to be good news, but actually breaking out back, that's interesting. They're going to try and put pressure to the teams moving in behind them as everybody's still on this mad dash. Falcons, Alpha 7, still safe from one another for the time being, right next door to each other on the tables as well. We'll see if they can conclude it. AXTMG moving in from the east side slow with Team Secret on their south edge.
Yeah, Team Secret's right next to them. I'm sure this fight is eventually going to conclude as soon as they get closer and closer into the next stage, which therefore opens up a potential for a third party. But for Team Secret, trying to stay as close to the edge they possibly can to avoid any potential shots from AXTMG, which surely are going to be coming through. As far as AXTMG go, where do they really go? I mean, there's not a lot of real estate inside of this next stage. They're going to have to fight, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to have to either go through Team Secret eventually, or, I don't know, maybe Fireflux, who's just up ahead of them.
There's also the option of holding and playing for the next circle. The bridge that sits between the South Island and the mainland can play around that a little bit. It does force you into isolation. Team Secret, look at what Team Secret are doing right now. On our minimap, we're looking at Team Secret right now because they've just broken down south side to Partona. You can see that rotation led by Zerus on that south edge. They're looking to try and ruin the day for Falcons potentially here. You do have that bridge approach that you can take further into the circle. It pushes further away and keeps that Via de Mar bridge in the circle as well. Alpha 7 wants more in the center, but this is getting messy now.
Very messy indeed, and Team Secret, all eyes on them because this is such a unique place, something I personally wasn't expecting, and they do have a bit of a piece of the next zone if they do go up towards that left side bridge, as you mentioned, and could be the bridge trolls themselves. We focus in on Influence Rage, who is opposite of E-Arena, and and also Falcons, who's been standing up against DRX. DRX taking a couple of shots, but they're going to be just fine, you would have to assume anyways. I'd say that, get out of the car! And unfortunately, Sykes is going to drop down, and another one taking too much damage. Now the question is, does anyone take advantage? Well, Alpha 7's a little bit too far away, so they should be able to recover, but my goodness, could it be any slower?
Falcon's going to try and take some advantage here. Soez rebuffed from the windowsill. Alpha 7 are still taking shots in the roll-up on Navallo. Makes the cross. Koa not so lucky. Navallo goes down as well, and maybe with the hold, the assist coming through from Alpha 7, the Brazilians playing spoiler to the Falcons' approach here. They try and fly on in, but instead they have to divert, head out to the west, but Alpha 7 aren't done. Another volley of fire, and they aren't going to quite connect on this one, but the damage is done.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and actually still taking damage from a distance, and they're going straight into Hora, as Hora is going to be gunning down Falcons. This is surely the end. Only one more player remains, and Falcons, unfortunately, unfurling right before our eyes, the first team to be eliminated. And you know what's kind of spooky about that? That could have very well been Team Secret 2 if they would have stayed right next to Falcons, because they were at one point and going in the same exact direction, the same path, before Team Secret decided to drop south.
Well, let's see if AXTMG can change the tune, because they're doing exactly that. You could see they are now positioned where the Falcons were. They're looking to push maybe towards DRX, depending, or they could just hold in this longhouse, hold in this compound on the edge of the circle, wait for E-Arena to try and make some moves, or Alpha 7, very unlikely that they move out from their spot right now with how central they are. It is only, of course, stage 3, so they are going to be looking to try and hold things down. AXTMG, I think, had the right idea. I don't think Falcons had to move here. I think it was a little bit of a misplay. They felt like they wanted to be more central, and they paid the price for that.
Teams can crash in, they can go center. We've seen it earlier, right, with Influence Rage, who just went straight on past multiple rosters, but sometimes it doesn't work out, and that's the risk you take when you play against Blue Zone. It will tank damage away. Obviously, at this point in the stage, it's not too bad, but I think Falcons could really feel the pressure, and once they started taking damage, that first initial fight just didn't work out for them. They just went haywire. They weren't thinking things through, and everything went blank, and, well, once they pushed in, they were done. Hora takes them out. Really unfortunate, because Falcons have played so well today. Still in a great spot, though. Don't get me wrong, top 9. They're going to have to finish strong in the final game. I believe in them.
Power now with 3 players forward, 1 on the backstop, looking to push past Fireflux on the east edge. Another shift out west means that they will have to get a shift on after this circle. But they have to conclude first. Power could potentially divert, but they've got Influence Rage to the south, Regnum Kaya at the front. It is really a cage match right now. Any team could look to try and disengage it, though, on those edge positions, try and get out of the way, but Power, they take a shot, and again, it's not looking good. Easy falls once more.
Just feel like Power is a team that sits too long. They're too indecisive, and that's what's been doing them in. That's why they're currently and dead last in 16th place. Even in this moment, what do? I understand it's a tough spot. Influence Rage on one end. On the other, of course, you've got Fireflux, who's going to be gunning you down. But Power didn't have to be here. They could have made a move. As we do have a zone shift, we still have Team Secret, who could take that left-hand bridge. But again, all eyes on Influence Rage, Fireflux, as well as Power, I can't believe they're actually sitting in. They got a knock, and they said, well, it's time to go in and go for it. Take down Influence Rage, and, well, shots are connecting, and Influence Rage will fall. That's 2 down.
Ragnar and Alhaji roll on in.
What?
A rampage as Easy is the only casualty. Esports E-Arena are moving in from the southwest side as well. They want to take a piece of this pie, but it's just Little Boy remaining. If Power can conclude now, they have a chance against this fight.
Let's go,
E-Arena moving in, trying to take this third party, but instead they just turn, they get a little bit more west, and they're trying to play choke on this fight now. They're trying to slow it down, bog them down towards the blue zone, and take these points.
Power, they can go north, though. They can avoid this entire fight if they choose to do so. E-Arena, though, they most likely want to take this, or they could disengage themselves. It's a question of what they want, but for Power to push it on Influence Rage in the fashion they did, good on them. I was talking about their indecisiveness. They finally got active, and it paid off. And look at them. They're still alive. They're repairing, and they're moving up. This is what we need for Power to turn the tides around.
They are still only on 3 points on the match,
I don't care.
The placements aren't quite there. Carrillo with the roll-up. They've been tracking this fight on the mini-map this whole time. AXTMG had tried to do the same thing, right? DRX moved out, who, by the way, are still surviving as a duo. And AXTMG moved in. Alpha 7, same spray down they made onto Falcons. Spray down again. They pick up those points, they pick up those elims, and now they're trying to take down the stragglers.
Oh, Weibo on Vision. No off and a lot of damage, taking it anyways. Order Moving through the smoke like a zombie in the night, getting the off angle. He's going to be deadly without question. He also coming up. You got to think Team Vision are about to be put into the absolute blender, but not capitalizing on these downs. Go for it, boys. Take them out. Get the finishes. You got a Team Vision member off to the edge. 33Z sees Volt, but can't get the shots needed. Volt lives for a little bit longer, but you got to think Weibo in this spot, too powerful.
2 players now remaining for Vision in the way. Moving past should be easy for Weibo. They should be able to find these fights, just get these trades. You can't really afford to give too much, though. You're going to have to think about rotating in for the next one. Playing so far to the edge, you need all the mobility you can get. Volt hits the deck, and her can't quite connect the spray down. Has to divert as well. Somehow Never Alone and Volt are surviving this. This is a lot longer than I expected from them.
Yeah,
finally, he's found.
And alone. Unfortunately alone, all up to his own devices, up at a distance. Forced to just stay where he's currently at. Volt finally drops, and Vision will finally go down. Weibo wins a critical fight because now they have the dead into the zone and they are all by themselves. Weibo, now one of the favorites in my mind to potentially take this game. Granted, you got a lot of great teams still remaining, but Weibo have been improving each and every game. They've been moving up the leaderboard, and well, I'm thinking they're going to have a solid finish. Now, for 4 Thrives, Alpha 7, maybe cooking up.
Could potentially be a chance for them to move on in.
Oh, the arena too.
The arena from the south side. It is a shift up towards the north edge. Team Secret, by the way, still going. They rotate out to that south side. Has managed to play well. They have all 4 players. They had a player as a backstop, but they can rotate and regroup. Alpha 7 now in for a scrap. South side will need to leave this position, but they need to fight this out first. Mafioso on the top floor has the backup for the players downstairs, and Tiny K can't quite get any retribution here. Now just 2 players alive for the arena. They're not going to take this fight. They know they don't have the time.
They just deliver 2 eliminations to Alpha 7 and say, okay, that's good enough. We're going to go ahead and dip out. For Alpha 7, they'll take that all day, every day. And for E Arena, well, they're still running into some struggles, as fortunately Terry is going to fall. 4 Thrives will take them. Now the question is, for 4 Thrives, do they have the wherewithal to potentially cut off Alpha 7's rotation? That is a possibility.
It is definitely a chance here, but they do need to, again, hold their backstop. I think that they're going to be a little bit more chill with it. Alpha 7 looking to try and push through. They may be trying to backfill and sweep out to the east side. It's a pretty difficult progress no matter where you go, but for Carrillo, he's opening up the bidding, allowing his team to move forwards, dropping some smokes, expending that utility to allow them a bit more mobility here. The circle isn't going to be on them for another couple of seconds, so they've got a little bit of time to play with. You can see they're moving up towards that roadside. They've already cleared out all the teams who tried to backfill on that western edge with AX TMG, with Falcons, all trying to make that rotate. They know there's going to be a little bit of a vacuum there, so they know they can be a little bit more maybe risky with that position, with that angle.
We set up the storyline very early in the day for Team Secret. Going south, a good rotation we saw could have happened if they chose to stay neck and neck with Team Falcons. They would have been eliminated. They are still alive and actually thriving as far as I'm concerned. They've had a wonderful day. We'll see if it can continue to get even better. They are tied currently with Galactico in 3rd place, and they've got all the compounds they need in their current location. Now, Joker, he's been a solo for a long time. Carrillo's had him in his line of sights, and you can tell Alpha 7 gets a little bit spooked because they were trying to push up onto the compound of 4 Thrives. Granted, that would have been a risky push, but what kept them in check was Joker from E Arena, who continues to be a thorn in the side of Alpha 7.
The nades keep on going through. AXTMG, Heat 2, a big nade on the overarm there. And that is nasty to have found those elims earlier on the replay. Alpha 7 doing a lot of work to find the punishment. Over towards the west side, rotate up along that coastal road. Falak with the down shots over towards Mafioso. Can't quite connect, only sees the buggy. Needs to be worried about the further tiered up high ground though. He will retreat. Nice and sensible there from Falak.
Yeah, without a doubt, Falak. Unfortunately, it's easy, right, at times to get tunnel vision and just continue to fire down and lose your line of sight. Keep your head on a swivel, though. He absolutely does that. For DRX, don't know how this fight even ended up unfolding. It's kind of awkward at the moment, but I tell you what, for the solo of AXTMG, he's given it to the duo of DRX just up ahead. And well, at this point, right, if you're a solo, you're going for survivability, you're going for any points you can. But Soa says enough is enough. I want to get the finish, but I'm not able to get it, actually. Devotee gets to clean up and somehow, some way, still swimming, still staying alive, and takes down DRX by himself.
He will have the assist of Team Secret. Off on the way there were those off-angle shots coming on through, a huge amount of suppression being delivered over that way. Really does help him out. But finally DRX full, so second place out. He's behind us, Joker. He's behind. He's got the nade, he's got the cook. Oh! Too long on the cook there, and now the nade position's given away. He doesn't have another one. He's got a Molotov, but will need the spray downs as Team Secret finally start to eat lead.
They don't look at him. Joker could take down the entirety of the Alpha 7 roster. It would be so hard to do. But if Joker gets active, if he can push up with Revo down, Joker, like I said, the thorn in the side of Alpha 7. We've been setting it up, but can he get it? He's gonna take down one. Now you gotta focus on two. It's gonna be over to your right side. He's gonna reposition. Not a lot of health, but still for Alpha 7 takes down, I believe, one member. They'll recover, but for Four Thrives, they smell blood in the water and they're going for it.
The Sharks are out here, but Four Thrives have a hell of a task to achieve there. Felak immediately sprayed down. The UMP keeps them safe. The breakout wide for Four Thrives wants to keep them going, but two players now knocked, and they just can't hurdle the distance here with just Noki left remaining. He's tumbling down the cliffside as Alpha 7 get back to their feet. They lost Revo to that off-angle spray down, and that is a big blow to be dealt, but they've still got some life in them.
Four Thrives, can they stay alive? That's the question. They're already in shambles. Carrillo onto Power, and Power's now out. Alpha 7 is this team that miraculously finds ways to get back into the fight with infinite reses, it seems.
They just know how to keep together. They are sticking to it, sticking to their guns. And with 8 elims on this game, Weibo, Regnum Kaya, Nongshim Red Force, the 4-player teams in this one, it feels like they've got a good chance. They are sticking to this edge-style play. I know Seven was talking a lot about how he's expecting them to try and stick to that over the course of this tournament. It looks like it's working out for them here on Miramar.
All right, so Alpha 7 have effectively won the Hilltop. Yes, I can't believe you still got them one solo from AXTMG in the water. I don't know how much of an impact he's going to have, but at least against DRX, he was the Grim Reaper and took them down. Four Thrives currently in first place, but with only a solo remaining, he's most likely not going to be able to do much. So this gives the opportunity for a lot of the teams who are towards the bottom end of the standings now to finish strong and potentially break into top 8.
What they'll be looking for here. On the north side, I'm looking at Weibo trying to get, again, another consistent game, get those points earnings going. Obviously, starting the day a little bit weak, but that second place in the last match may be looking to convert into a first place here. On that northern side, they are fairly alone, fairly isolated, as the final player from AXTMG gets spotted, and Mafioso won't let that one go.
Rest in peace, man. He lived a long time, did his absolute best. It was fun watching him do his best. Michael Phelps out there, but tell you what, for DRX, again, taking him out, that's tough. Team Secret still alive, by the way. They haven't done much, which I'm quite surprised with, and they've been now currently gatekeeped by Hora, who I do not believe is going to allow Team Secret to rotate out. So I believe Hora going to take them down relatively shortly. I think Team Secret is going to be out. And Hora then has a pretty good amount of real estate on this left side of the stage.
What? That was from Alpha 7.
Huh?
What? That's the all the way on the other side of the circle there.
Yeah, what the heck?
Towards Weibo. Unlikely that this gets flushed out, but Weibo, they're going to be slowed down by this. The circle has moved away from them, and Alpha 7 are a lot closer to it, so a really big pickup here. The Mini 14 for Mafioso is doing bits.
So you got levels to this, right? You got Team Secret who's being gatekept by Hora. You got that Hora who has, really Alpha 7 has infinite line of sights and is also looking down. For Team Secret, good on them. They actually make an attempt, and No Fear is dropped low, going closer and closer to the edge of zone to try and commit for an off angle. I don't know if this was intentional. Maybe he fell down, but Jaiki wants to take it to him, and well, No Fear's wisely going to go ahead and back away, but that would have been really awkward. And for Weibo, they're setting up for an off angle themselves.
They found that res. They are back as 4, not taking off angle shots. They want to sweep through, control this roadside. I don't expect them to crash down here. I don't think that they want to. What they want is to pick up the pieces of this fight, find these third-party fights, find those elims prelims and try and steal them away. Mafioso spotted by Order in the meantime, but they've got a fight in their own town to deal with. No fear, still just going for it with the shotgun, despite being on fire. Will not quite connect on it and will get flushed away. Order getting picked apart in the meantime, but Frankie goes down, leaving one player for Team Secret. Regnum Kaya and Nongshin Red Force in the meantime on the east side.
They're also in a fight, and utilities starting to come down from, I believe, somebody else off in the distance. Silas, who has so much to gain and earn from PMWC right before your eyes, taking on the entirety of the world up ahead, but the shots aren't hitting. He's fully exposed, and all it takes for Benny to just swing to the right-hand side to take him down. A nade potentially that opened up the door to take down Silas. It's thrown. Swing left, my boy. Take him down. Fully commit to it. Don't let him get the reses, but Alpha 7 up top are going to take everybody out anyways.
He has to stick to this monster truck right now. It's a slow-moving castle for him, right? As it stands, it just keeps rolling. It keeps him safe as Regnum Kaya fall before him. Benny now can just chill behind this one. I wonder if Alpha 7 expect there to still be a player behind this monster truck. We'll have to wait and see if they've got that scouting info. But now we're down to 4 teams alive. Benny's still going, and he's going towards the circle.
He actually is. This is incredible. He's happy with this. Continues to squat down. Look, hey, you see it all PMWC, and we've seen already quite a bit climbing towers, using your portable castle, as you called it, right? Going forward into zone. But for Alpha 7, you know they are punishing, and they are looking to punish Benny.
He hopped in, he tapped the brake there into the monster truck, so he's stopped dead. Sook gets spotted. That is a big pickup for Alpha 7 because they're going to need to descend soon. And Weibo had that ridgeline. It would have been broadside if they went for a flat rotate, but they found that opener. The res needs to come through fast for Weibo.
Alpha 7, Weibo, this is it. These are the 2 teams to win it as far as I'm concerned. Whoever wins this engagement are taking it. Benny might have an impact, but we don't know. But for 4 Thrives refusing to go out, even though he's a solo, he is mighty. 4 Thrives fighting till the very end. And, well, with that elimination also gives away his position, but he's fine. I mean, he's alive. Why did Weibo not capitalize?
I mean, they were all going down, right? They tried to cross the road. It felt messy from Weibo. That is unfortunate. Not what we wanted from them. Up the top now, Alpha 7 have 2 solos to deal with. The circle will close dead center on this one. We're into stage 9, into nearly the 29th minute now. But Benny, I just wonder if he's safe from Alpha 7. Not because of his position, but because of the knowledge that they have or don't have.
It's weird for him, right? Because you got 2 solos, and, well, now we're traveling. Look at it, Naki's out. 4 Thrives, he says, man, I got to dip a little bit. But there is still a world Alpha 7 doesn't win this if things get weird. And Benny is holding on tight to what he's got. And does Alpha 7 know Benny has left this monster truck?
This is the thing. I don't think they do. The 2-player crash that they just did felt like they were rolling onto a solo. They'll know it's 2 solos alive. They'll know where Noki is from the gunfight. It felt like Carrillo and Squash thought that he was in that ditch amongst those vehicles. He was not, and now they're confused.
They are, because they're fully focused on 4 Thrives Naki. Benny, they have no idea Benny's here.
Mafioso.
Oh, Carrillo as well looks to be cooking a nade, going straight. No, he throws it over there, but direct. Squash ends up throwing a nade over here. The shot's going to ring out, and Benny's going to be exposed. He's going to get taken down. Mafioso finally hits the shot, and now it comes down to a 3v1.
Noki with a chance here for 4 Thrives, but it is a slim one as Alpha 7 look to try and maintain their title towards the top spot. It's a battle for first place, but he's found Mafioso. He's got the flush. Carrillo as well. Noki, no! How can you do it to him? They want that first place, well, you're gonna have to prize it from his cold, dead hands. Squash with a chance now, and he's able to close it down. Finally finds it, but my God, what a run they gave him.
Oh my gosh, and you could see the relief on Squash Boo's face. Squash, the new addition to the Alpha 7 roster, such a heavy burden, such a momentous occasion. In the left, you can see how relieved they are from a guaranteed win to just a matter, just really winning by the skin of their teeth. An unbelievable finish, but for 4 Thrives, I mean, they've got to be happy with that result. Such a tremendous performance, but still for Alpha 7, give them their flowers where flowers are due. That is 2 wins out of the 5 games today, matching DRX's performance.
A brilliant result for Alpha 7 there. They played edge beautifully from the south side. They controlled the rotations of teams like DRX, who were
who are going to be their chicken dinner tied up places, kissing that PMWC logo as well. Defending champs, beautiful stuff. They control Falcons in that game. They controlled AXTMG in that game, and they control 10 placement points onto the tables. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the desk very shortly to set up for the final game today.
Dear PUBG Mobile fans, we are delighted to invite you to the 2025 PUBG Mobile World Cup at the Esports World Cup in Riyadh, KSA. This exciting event will take place from July 25th to August 3rd at the Boulevard City. We've prepared tons of event perks, such as the PMWC Avatar Frame, Esports Passion Set, Esports Passion Parachute, and tons more items. Let's check out how you can get all these rewards. During the tournament, go to the Pandora event page via Lobby, Event Center, Esports to join the event. Mormon from SEA, Cop from CSA, Pedrinho from the Americas, Silas from the EU, and Prestige from MENA will guide you through the 5 major parts of the event. They consist of tournament celebration, prediction rewards, esports shop, themed outfit, and champion challenge. Join these activities to earn rewards and collect esports tokens to redeem even more gifts in the esports shop. The more esports tokens you collect, the better rewards you'll get. You can get up to 2,870 esports tokens from the prediction event. It takes place from July 23rd to August 5th and consists of 3 stages that coincide with the tournament: group stage, survival stage, and grand finals. During the group stage, get 20 esports tokens by predicting the 8 teams you think will advance directly to the grand finals. Each correct prediction will grant you an additional 60 tokens. Make a total of 3, 6, and 8 correct predictions to get 300, 680, and 720 tokens, respectively. You'll get another chance during the survival stage to guess the other 8 teams that will make it to the grand finals. The rewards are the same as the group stage. During the grand finals, you must try and predict the ultimate champion. Just predicting will grant 30 tokens, and a correct prediction will grant 400 tokens. If you're unsure about your predictions, you can let your friends' predictions guide you. Find someone reliable, copy their predictions, and wait to be rewarded. The 3 prediction rounds take place on July 27th, July 30th, and August 3rd at 10:45 UTC 0. Rewards are issued the second day after each stage ends at 4 AM UTC 0. You'll receive esports tokens based on your prediction results. Note, esports tokens don't expire and can be used in future esports events. Who do you think will be the ultimate champion? Join the 2025 PMWC event and share your predictions. Invite your friends to join the predictions and watch the tournament unfold.
Yeah! Nice.
Nice. Nice.
Well, we didn't get the Alpha 7 one, the reaction of the 2 wins that they have had today. But if we did end up getting it, it would sound something like this. Do Brasil! What were you going to say?
Mafioso, go, go, go! He's popping off those games. So
he has been popping off. He's popping off with the Mini 14.
Hell yeah!
You like
it? Was very high pitch wise.
Hell
yeah! That just came out of nowhere, so that was weird.
But a team that, I mean, a lot of question marks were being questioned for Alpha 7. People were saying, okay, is this team going to be able to pop off? Is this team going to be able to maybe defend the championship? Are they even going to make it to the grand finals via group stage? I feel like they're shutting a lot of people up right now.
Well, they're certainly beating the, they play slow in the first day.
For sure.
They're beating those allegations 100%. That is really something that's really improved from them. Yeah. I love to see that. But I love that they're a team that once they know they've got a good thing going, they just go for it 110%. They knew that up there on top of that hill, they had the perfect opportunity for a 30-point game. Didn't quite happen, but they got there very close.
Would you say they go for it with 19 eliminations?
Could have been 20.
Yes, it could have been 20. I mean...
It's just very satisfying to have a 20 elimination chicken.
Well, you really wanted it to be 20 max. I think I ended up saying I think they're going to be just one short because of what Weibo was doing there. But for Weibo Gaming, good back-to-back games here as well.
Yeah, finally. Finally. Yeah. Because sure, they got themselves still a good angle earlier on the last angle of the day. It was very much because of the circle, right? That was just shifting on them time and time again. No, here, they actually went for really good high ground control. Early rotations from Chumacera. They might have to fight with Chumacera actually versus Alpha Gaming when they fight their group. That would be interesting, but very good execution overall. And I'm very impressed by the fact here that Sook is out damaging Order and 33Z that normally are 2 of the main fraggers on the team, but no, the IGL Sook is here bringing the heat with that damage and the limbs. So intrigued to see if that's going to keep on going, if that's going to be a trend for the rest of this tournament.
Yeah, something that we don't really tend to expect there from Sook, even though we know that he's able to do it, especially with the caliber of players that are currently within his squad with Order. We know that he's currently fighting for the trophy of being able to be the GOAT of PUBG Mobile Esports. If they do end up winning PMWC, I feel like that would be the case. I don't know about you guys. This is the conversation. Don't worry, we'll talk about this once we end up getting to the grand finals, if they do end up making it there. But some of the other teams that you guys were talking about too, Hora Esports, Max.
They played Valle del Mar exceptionally well.
Yeah.
They